when we were in school. Oh, Rivian, right here before we throw it back over. Where's the warm spot for you?
Where I went?
Yeah.
Saint Martin.
Oh, Saint Martin. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. We'll love that.
Sand. I love those white sand beaches.
Just heard a little something about Rivian, but then it didn't continue. Oh, they introduce here. It goes. Rivian introduces their R2 lineup, including pricing. So maybe that's something for Sharif on the midday show. Rivian just announced pricing and trims for R2. So you guys can cover that. Okay, that's it, man. We always get in trouble by Joe if we go over. So we do not want to go over anymore. He gets really offended if we ever do. So, all right, Obi, great show. Thank you so much to everybody today, man. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to Dara in the back. She's not going anywhere, so more news, more love, more life. Thank you so much to everybody in the back, man. Andre, Sharif, Joe, Brendo, Ramin, Fabian, everybody. Thank you so much. How much? 57.9 US.
For the buy-in.
So you had 1.3 to that, and that's your Canadian price of around 85 or so. All right, thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you at 2 p.m. That's Obi, I'm Sean, and that's Sharif and Joe. See you guys soon.
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif. And the R2 Assassino is going to be a very light, a very cheap, and not too expensive $57,990 USD to start. Eh?
That's the performance package.
That's the performance package, Katina Man? Yeah, the Katina Man oh yeah. That's additional premium configurations. All right, let's say hello to everybody, then we'll go through this thing line by line. All right, guys, shout out to Mr. Laws, Nikki, Front Porch Trader, Britt Brennan, shout out to Real Dangerous, and why not, Other Zinc, the OG in the house, Sarah McCarthy. Right back at you, Sarah. The Real Dangerous, Becky joining us as well. Ola, right back at you, girl. We got Hangry Wife. We got Matthew, Santa Cruz, Bristol, 69, Uptown Pigeon, Jacques, Ronaldo, Callum, Mitchell, frickin' Miller, Bastone. Shout out to Chris Onion. He likes those onions, Joey. Don't get too close to him, though, because, you know, he could be a little stinky. I'm playing. Trust Fund Baby. We got Voki, Andrew Chow. Shout out to my man, Mr. Rookie, man. All right, Smoochie. You're not going to get no smooches for me, I promise you that. Anurag, we got Jaguar Nut and Trader Sniper TV. Shout out to Black Sheep Trades and Minnesota Trader. Hit that wick. I like that. Shirts and Surf. All right, man. The trades, we got Brian Go. Right back at you, brother. Frank Hong and Ichiro, the OG. Always love what Ichiro has to say. We got Darth Trader, the auspicious turtle. Who else, man? Mimi Wasabi. Get it, Mimi. We got, I'm trying to get to names that I can actually read. Freddie Lou and Apple G King. Just a very, very small amount of the many people joining us today. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to you, brother.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Yeah, let's get right into things as we typically do. We'll start off with ONDS. Just timing off on this one, we were on the long, and then sure enough, you get that nice move up into 1040. Doubled up the size on the second attempt here around the lows, holding that support level, but then we get wicked out eventually, and then it climbs a little bit higher. We try the short, but then it squeezed, and I'm like, you know what? Not really working for us there. So another slow start here for the kid. We are long some TQs off of the lows, so let's see if we can get this working for us. Obviously, have to keep an eye on some of the bigger names and see what they are up to. I mean, NVDA selling here a little bit, guys. We have Apple starting to head towards its low of the day once again. We've seen Obi in the longs with that earlier. Microsoft, nothing crazy, but trading above the volume-weighted average price. And what is Goggles doing? Hopefully we can find a rebound. If this name decides that it wants to find somewhat of a pullback, but I'm kind of getting the same vibes in what we experienced here on AMD yesterday.
Similar.
This channel down. Right? I mean, we've been on a monster run here, and then things are slowly starting to crack to the downside in GOOGL. So let's see if it can hold up. But what we're seeing right now, not too pretty. So that's what I got going on here right now. What was on my list here today? Nice work, Obi and Sean, respectively on Path, UiPath, and also on Palantir. That was it. So let's see if we can find somewhat of a rebound in this overall market and get this trade rocking and rolling here for us on the TQQQs, guys.
All right, let's get right down to work, ladies and gents. All right, there's a couple of runners that are in the middle of breaking right now. I would say they both look really good. Choose carefully. AGRZ, 8180 high. I'm talking pennies, not dollars. Clean hold here off the 10 EMA / VWAP. They were overlapping at the time. To me, it looks like it was holding here at VWAP at 2/3 of a dollar. High day, as I mentioned, 8180. Prior bar is a doji candle, so keep an eye out on that. Looks like there is possible support at 75 pennies. EONR up about 40%. This one is on the rampage to the high side. It's about to hit the $0.25. The last time it touched the 10 EMA on the 5 was at 10.45, 20 minutes ago. Getting a little extended. This one could see $1.50 before, you know, the day is over. We're going to go through some more. Those are the main two that I want to get to. There goes EONR into the $1.25, but we got to go up to the big desk with Adair.
Big Fed-related headline coming through here, guys. Traders are no longer fully pricing in one Fed rate cut in 2026. Now, as we know, we're definitely not expecting to get a rate cut in March. That meeting is now less than 1 week away. But now 91% of participants aren't expecting a cut in April either. In June, we've got 68.4% of participants expecting no change. July, we now have the majority of participants still not expecting any cut. And then odds kind of get a little bit closer here for September, but again, majority still does not expect a cut. October is when you start to see the majority of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut. But long story short, it was early on, we thought we'd get at least one cut this year. Now, there isn't even one cut that is fully priced in for 2026. Back to you.
Scary, spooky. There we go. October is the day or the month that we're looking for the first rate cut. All right, we'll have to see how that all works out. TPET. This one's putting in some great higher lows off the volume weighted average price. I was watching this earlier. I didn't hit the gym today. I was doing some coding here on the risk calculator. But as I was watching this play out, there it goes into 181. There seems to be a lot of selling in the low 180s. A lot of aggressive short selling. Didn't really feel like there was a lot of profit taking, a lot of hidden orders, mind you, as well. So keep your eye on TPET here. This is a former runner. It's an oil name. It's moving with oil. We got, a little bit of a reprieve there earlier on with the Jones Act. I think we've kind of since recovered off those lows. In fact, yes, USO is right back into the highs. So that was, a really short-lived recovery there for some oil names. So we're going to keep an eye on TPET. With TPET goes BATL, another oil name here, having a good day. Why isn't this on the side chart? BATL. Into 23 3/4. Not a bad look on this one as well. 24.29 high. There is resistance, though, guys, between the 3/4 of a dollar and the whole dollar. Take a look at those three topping tail candles. 930, the implied, the initial open. You get another one at 940, and you got a third at 955. All in and around 3/4 of a dollar to the whole dollar. So I would say expect resistance up here, perhaps before make it into 24 with the ultimate high of the day, 24.29, as I mentioned. Turbine is losing the bid, and it's, kind of less interesting to me at the moment. ATPC, this is a bit of a compression pattern, and that's fine. We don't have to hate on that. But when there's other, cleaner trades, I would say at the moment, we need to concern ourselves with the ones that are not, setting up in the best way. But this is a bull pennant, the way I see it. The breakout 725, 730. We get that higher low essentially from 915, 930 onwards. But we are also on the other side of the coin getting lower highs. That is ATPC. Woof. Also doing decent here. I mean, it had a nice move in the aftermarket. Looks like an earnings report. Don't care. Coming down into about 305 would be of interest to me, just because it is the volume weighted average price. It's already lost the 10 for the moment. Let's see if it holds up at the 20. If it doesn't, there is a zone that I want to articulate here. There is a bull flag zone, I want to say between the 1/5 of a dollar, so 320, and around, a little bit lower than 10. It looks like the range starts there at 8. So that could be the bull flag consolidation area. That could be an area of support as well, so be on the lookout for that. And then LWLG is looking awfully crappy here. Nice breakout at 4:30 yesterday. We try to continue. We don't ever actually get above the aftermarket high in the pre-market or regular trading hours this morning. 739 high. We almost matched that 744 high that we put in the aftermarket yesterday, but not quite. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that one as well. So there are some running. AGRZ seems the best to me, EONR, but TPET and Battle could be making a move here, especially if oil continues to trend, Joey.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys, slowly starting to work for us on ONDS. The Nasdaq right back towards the lows, so that's not too good of a look there. Choppy one is right, guys, as we're slowly starting to bleed. And I mean, if these big boys don't find somewhat of a rally, then this trade's going to be in a little bit of trouble and no rebound back towards the volume-weighted average price. Tesla starting to climb higher, but one thing that I want to point out is just the strength within the price action prints, right? Like, so you can see how aggressive and how bearish these 5-minute candles are, and then look where we're sitting kind of in the 5-minute time frame of these ones. So they're not overly strong. They're not. They are closing green, but they're not aggressive and they're not strong. You don't see the volume stepping in, so that may not be too good of a look there for me. Now moving forward, Amazon heading towards the low of the day, and if we take a look at all these from a daily, man, oh man, it looks like we want to curl over in Amazon. NVDA heading right back towards the low of the range, and then this is a really good example of Tesla. Looks like it wants to break out of this downward sloping channel, but then immediately rejects the top end of that range, and now is starting to come back in. All right, so just trying to correlate a couple things here. The daily with the intraday time frames, we are starting to get somewhat of a rebound, but you can see on the grand scheme of things, it's not very much, and it doesn't look like it has very much strength behind it, all right? So the market is putting in a new low. We'll hold on to this for a little bit longer, but if it cracks and the volume and the momentum starts to pick up, then we'll just have to get out of Dodge on this long here. Why was I deciding to go long? There's so many things that saying, hey, don't, but there's some tomfoolery going on and just typical market action, essentially, is that we have this inverted hammer candle on volume, but I thought we would get an additional bounce because we had a double bottom right here, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too horrible of a sign. Let's get involved and see if we can get that move back towards the volume weighted average price. But right now it doesn't seem to be the case. Oracle's still grinding to the downside. What does this look like from a daily? I mean, you have that gap up. Now you're starting to fill a bit of that gap there. So ONDS is slowly starting to work for us, but the Nasdaq is not. So a couple pennies right here on ONDS. We'll take that all day, kind of offset what we got going on here in the TQQs. A break of 980 is going to be ideal for me and a price target potentially. And then we'll piece some off, especially if the momentum really starts to pick up here. But yeah, what we got going on in the Nasdaq is not looking good.
All right, man. Trying to get into AGRZ, sorry. Looking here, multi-time frame. We're going to be using that on the top screen now in addition to the 5-second chart. Keeping an eye on this one. Perceived support in and around 75, not to, unusual. We are in a bit of a downtrend, topping tail, couple of topping tail candles, in fact, through 80, with the high being 82.60. This is AGRZ coming back down now into 76 and change, waiting for that 75.5 to get filled. We're showing 76 3/4, 76 4/5, depending if you're looking on the bid or the ask. If this one prints a first 1-minute candle to make a decisive new high, and I'm going to say about 77.5 to 77.8, I'm going to punch manually. I won't wait for the dip. If it comes into 75, then fantastic. We give it to 69er, okay? There it goes. Now we're filled. So now we have to throw in the stops. Let's go ahead, put in 69er as our out, and we'll kind of see what we get with this bad boy over here. Now we're going to give it to 68, just so that, if we get caught a little bit in some downtrends there, Joey, we don't want to be caught a little too aggressively. So we're going to keep an eye out on that one. All right, so my entry on this one, 75.5. It says 76 there, but that's because it doesn't round up. Or down, sorry. And my 2R on this one, 87, 3R is 93. Let's see which one goes, how this goes. So 2R 87, that necessitates a high of day breach with the high of day being 82.60. So keeping an eye on that. But, That's not what I wanted to do there. There we go. There goes EONR into another high of the day, $1.29 now, into that high, up 44 and 4/5%. I see it, Bovin. I see it, my man. Shout out to Bovin, always keeping me apprised of what's moving here. Bovin, it really didn't give me much of an opportunity. I actually take that back. That's a lie. It gave me the 11 o'clock candle, the 11:05 candle, but we were doing the introductions. I didn't get an opportunity to. That's when it touched the 10 EMA on the 5, and that should have been my entry. So packing the patience here, Joey. Here we go on AGRZ. We're looking for some prints. Now, mind you, just like we've been doing, we're going to wet the beak lightly here, okay? Saving a great majority of the prints for my 2R. Again, 2R87 states a high of day. But right now, I'd feel a lot better if we can breach prior bar high on the 5. Prior bar high on the 5 takes us to 79 3/4. Current bar high, 78 1/3. So we're not even close. The reason I want that is because obviously we come down into a technical area of support, which means buyers are stepping in there. Fine, that's fantastic. But are there enough buyers to be able to clear the prior area of resistance? That's what always concerns me. 78 and change showing up over here, keeping an eye on that one. And I'll get to your question in a second, Bovin, once we get back from Adair.
Just keep an eye here on GE, the CIO or Chief Information Officer of GE Aerospace, currently speaking at Palantir, so this Palantir AIPCon event. So keep an eye on GE. Now, none of these speeches thus far have been super market moving or of any interest. Like both Accenture and SAP got slight bumps when their executives first took the stage. That did not happen here with GE, but just be aware. Speech is happening. I'll keep you guys posted if there's anything market related. Furthermore, some more oil-related headlines, and I guess market-related headlines as well here. JP Morgan saying to short the market until the Strait of Hormuz reopens. And also, we've got some individuals from the UK saying that they believe Iran is very likely deploying these mines within the Strait of Hormuz. Back to you.
That's a no good.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Luis Valencia, let's take a look at the SPY. For quite some time, guys, I talked about this, right? Like you have this consolidation, and I think that it's a very different nature when we talk about buying the dip. Is when you have a nice steady uptrend. I don't know if there's such, again, I'm just speaking my mind here essentially. I don't think it's the same narrative of when you have kind of this form of a consolidation. Now, if you look at the bigger term and you break through some of the key support levels in which we had around 675 and you head towards that next leg, then I think that could be a good opportunity. But just buying this range at the lows, just be prepared to get out at the highs. Like the SPY was on a multi-day green streak, within this congestion zone right here with 2 red days in the span of a couple of trading weeks, but you didn't go anywhere, right? So it's a little bit different of a narrative. I think it's just be patient right now. And I was talking with Jose this morning, and I'm like, hey, do you think we're going to break these consolidation lows? And he's like, yeah, man, I truly do. But if the Strait of Hormuz opens up and then things get rolling, I just think there's a bigger picture going on. I know it's not a good conflict whatsoever, but I don't think it's going to change the narrative of what we got going on from a CapEx spend in the hyperscalers. They're still building data centers. And I don't know if we're at the tail end. I don't think we're at the tail end of this AI trade, but I think it can get going once again. A couple positive catalysts fall under your belt and in the market, but I just think it needs to digest the move that we've experienced the past couple of months.
All right, man, continuing to watch. I just got into TPET as well. This one seems awfully flat top breakish. Higher lows into that low 180s, resistance 181, 182. Let's see how this one ends up going. But I got to tell you, I'm displeased here with ARGZ. It did, I think, breach prior bar high in a techno 79.70, 79.77. No, so it didn't. It's a little bit shy. I've moved up my stop. I've moved up my stop now from 69 pennies, which is below the volume weighted average price, to the flat shelf that we have here on a 2 candle support basis, 11.10 candle, 11.15 candle, the low of which is 75. So I've put it just a skosh below that. It doesn't look like it has the kind of continuation legs. So we're gonna tighten up the risk on this one because I don't want to get caught with the long goggles again on this one. So let's give it a little bit of room, keeping an eye here on the top time frame. There it comes back into 77. This looks like it's going to be a lower high. Now, the 5-minute candle is forming into a topping tail. On the one, it just breached prior bar low. So multi-time frame analysis, got to keep your eye out on that. So AGRZ coming back down a little bit here. Not the look I was going for. There comes into 76. I'm going to give it room into 75. So I will get stopped out. I will insist that it breached 75 because I know there were buyers there before as there was sellers. So let's see what this one does. Now let's have a look at TPET. TPET. Reason I'm involved in that one is because what I perceive to be a higher low, flat top situation. I realize that we were up at 188 before, but now we've got 3 topping tail candles, 4 in fact, through 180. All the while, we have these higher lows. So buyers are getting more and more aggressive at the price at which they're accepting to buy this. The sellers, well, they're pretty convicted in their cost so far. They're still defending that low 180 level. In fact, no closing print has printed above 180 since this candle over here at 955, which is fine. It gives us an idea of what's going on. So that's the look there. T2 trades, TPET, LOL, never mind. You just said it, my man. Grunfeld, LWLG, right top corner of your screen. I mentioned this one at the beginning, Grunfeld. My issue with this one is we're still below aftermarket highs from yesterday. So this one started breaking out. Looks like around 430. It looks like maybe the news came in at 4, but the price action certainly came in at 430. This one rocketed up, I want to say almost 50% into the highs. Sold off a little bit though, as per usual, into the 8 p.m. close. Today, we don't quite make it up to the pre-market high. So first and foremost, here's the deal. I'm going to put an alert. If we can take out prior area high at that 1045 candle, I'll get involved. That'll tell me some of the sellers have been shaken out. So that's my look on that. All right, I forgot to mention my risk and reward here on TPET. So TPET, we're in at $1.81. So my 2R on this one is 192, which will necessitate a high of day break, and 3R 198. We're going to keep an eye out on that as it's starting to run. There it goes into 82. We're going to wet the beak ever so lightly. Let's go at 83s, just for you know what and giggles. And we'll keep an eye on there, okay? But there goes AGRZ. Now it's breached a couple of prior bar highs. It's a couple of pennies below the high of the day, so let's not get too carried away with this one just because it breached a couple of prior bars. But I have a bias that if we get into the mid-80s and we start trending in the way that we've been doing all day on this name, that there's a good chance we at least glance at the dollar. It doesn't have to hit 99 or $1, but can weasel up possibly into that level. We're going to pack the patience here as I see sellers coming in again at 80 pennies on AGRZ. That's going to probably cause a little bit of a top there. Now that's 3 topping tail candles, all of which reject the 80 penny level here on AGRZ. So I'm very alive to the fact that the shorts are really gunning. And look at this one, off the high by, look at the aggression with which this one drops down. The high 81, it took forever to get there, and it takes no time to drop back down into 76 and change. We're pausing. We're going to Adara.
Headlines. I'm seeing a spike here in XPeng as well as Stellantis. Stellantis reportedly in talks with both Xiaomi and XPeng for potential European partnerships. That is headline I'm seeing coming through. Stellantis reportedly, again, in these discussions, they're seeking Chinese EV technology and investment for their business, which is, of course, based in Europe for the most part. Stellantis also reportedly weighing a stake sale in Maserati and other European brands as part of the strategic review. If I get more details, I, of course, will let you know. I'm also seeing that the Israeli military is saying they have begun, quote, a wave of strikes in Beirut. USO continuing its nice little trend here to new high of day. So if I get more headlines, I will certainly keep you posted. But again, Stellantis and XPeng both popping as Stellantis reportedly in talks with Xiaomi and XPeng for a potential partnership in Europe. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Where is it there? Daniel? Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I think we both have some solid points there. The situation that's going on right now is not good. But, I mean, are we going to be talking about it? Of course we will be, but is it going to be the front of the headlines 6 months from now? I don't know. If things escalate, it can obviously get a lot worse than what we're currently sitting at, but I think it's like there's so many conflicts going around the world. First it was Ukraine, now we're talking about Iran, and then it was Venezuela. I just think that unfortunately it's a revolving door of conflicts, but eventually the market does digest it and we'll find somewhat of a rebound. I don't think the sky is falling at this point. And that's just my opinion, right? Okay, coin. Now, as for coin, not doing so good. I seen someone mention that IBIT was getting a pop, so I wanted to take a look at that. It was heading back towards the volume-weighted average price. Yeah, so there it is, knocking on that door. Let's see if it's going to bounce off it. Maybe we can get a stronger rebound in the overall market. ONDS, it's climbing higher, and I'm short it, and I'm long TQs, and it's starting to find somewhat of a rebound here. So we'll hold on to this a little bit longer. I'm going to strike out at the plate here on ONDS. If it doesn't get going at this time, I'm looking for the crack of the low of the day around 979. But right now you can see on the 5-minute time frame, it's starting to form these higher lows, which isn't necessarily good for my trading thesis. But we also have a potential resistance zone on this level at approximately $10 flat that seems to be holding up. And if we break through that, then we'll just have to get out of Dodge and wait for something else.
All right, man, I'm trying to get into EONR, Bovin. It gave me a red candle, and then it followed with another lower low. I'm talking about, pardon me, the current candle, the 1125 candle, the low of which is 27s. I put my dip trade at 26, seeing that the 10 EMA was at 25, so I'm like, front run that bad boy. And I missed it by a penny, which sucks because it rocketed right back up into the freaking high of day, $1.34. EONR is all gas, no brakes, 50.5% in the Ville of Green. Be careful with this one, though. It looks, I don't want to say it's extended, but it's just ridiculously strong with no breaches of the 10 EMA on a closing basis and only a wick here and there, the last one being at 1025. And it was immediately retraced with a higher high and higher low. So that's a look there. Guys, I flattened out of AGRZ. This is not the look I'm going for right now. We took the profits. We got the hell out of there. I realize it didn't break through 75, but I'm alive to this downtrend. I'm also very alive to the short seller here at 80. If we can shake the short seller at 80, squeeze them out, maybe I'll have another look at this one, but I'm not going to fight this downtrend. There goes EONR into another high of day, 137. This one's on the way likely to the $0.50 here. Be strategic in where you try to get in. Perhaps a third of $1, 130, 133 would be a good area. I'm going to pack the patience. I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to insist that it come into an area of technical support before we get involved. TPET broke through area high. It weaseled on up, I believe, into 83. That is a high coming back down now into 80. I'm going to be looking for a hold of structure. The structure is quite simple. It's an upward channel of sorts. We can kind of do that by creating a parallel line with the downtrend. So I'm not going to be trading it as a channel, but I do see that it is channeling, so to speak, with the lows being defended and the highs also being rejected at the extremities. So we're going to keep an eye out on that, but I'm very interested in working my way into EONR. But at the moment, I'm going to pack my patience there. BATL as well is another oil name. This one seems to be doing a bit of a compression pattern, lower highs but higher lows, obviously a far higher than the volume weighted average price. This one is a bit more expensive though, and it's a bit more spready. So you're going to have to account for that in your risk management. And there goes EONR again into 39. It's on the way to the $0.50 here. Be careful about how you get in. We're going to stop for a second. We're going up to Adara.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about crypto here. We'll do the crypto update while I'm here, but I want to also mention another headline. Now, this one we already kind of knew. It was already reported. Now it's been confirmed, at least on a speculative basis, from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. So in case you missed it earlier, we did report, I think probably about like 10 minutes before the midday show began, that the U.S. was considering waiving the Jones Act. Now, that is, of course, part of this Maritime Merchant Act of 1920, and basically it means that if you are, I guess, transporting goods between U.S. ports, you must be on a U.S.-manned ship built by the U.S., U.S.-flagged, etc. Now, again, we mentioned they were going to be waiving that to potentially try to get the oil price lower. Caroline Leavitt saying or confirming rather, the U.S. is considering this waiver of the Jones Act, but the action has not yet been finalized. Now, if that is the case, that could lead to a drop in oil. Crude oil futures did actually spike lower when we first heard the headline, but as you've seen since, they've certainly recovered. Let's talk about BTC. Bit of a flag pattern of sorts over the last few days for Bitcoin. You get this nice push up on Tuesday with decent volume, then you get waning volume on Wednesday and Thursday, and in both days you get these ranges in which this trading get tighter and tighter. You trade entirely within Tuesday's range all day and Wednesday, then on Thursday you trade entirely within the range you had on Wednesday. So these ranges are just getting tighter in the daily chart. Right now trading just above 70,000 for BTC. Now with that in mind, I guess what would be a change of trend here is if we break above or below the range on Wednesday. If you look at this weekly chart, though, Bitcoin is nicely poised for its second straight green week after a 6-week selling streak. So let's see if we're able to clinch that on Bitcoin. Ethereum actually poised for its first green week. It was not green last week, and they have been selling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. So let's see if Ethereum can break that nasty red streak. We'll take a look at the daily chart for Ethereum as well. Ethereum looking quite nice on the daily. The level we'd have to take out here for prior resistance, that would be that 2,200 level we made during last Wednesday's notable crypto rally on March 4th. Let's see if we can get to 2,200 as of right now, just shy of 2,100 for Palantir event is still happening. Market is not really reacting to the presence of any of these companies. If there is anything, though, that changes that, I'll, of course, keep you posted because I'm still listening. Back to you.
Unreal, man.
All right, so yeah, there goes NVDA, a nice curl over there, guys. We're almost back to the break even on the TQQs, only a couple of pennies away, but the momentum definitely starting to pick up to the top side, a bounce off of these bottoms, so not a horrible look whatsoever. And then IBIT blasted through, as Adara was just talking about Bitcoin, IBIT blast through the volume weighted average price, and the volume really started to increase on that 5-minute print there, guys. So not a horrible look whatsoever on that front either. Let's see what else we got. Has Apple found a bottom, starting to slowly curl over, double bottom right here, essentially what I was looking at on the Nasdaq. It did an additional wick out, and then now starting to climb a little bit higher. My boy Stevenson, I'm long Qs down here. We break VWAP's day high. That'd be nice, brother. We're gonna try to hold on to this, but we do have to keep into consideration that the downtrend is still fully intact until we break this bad boy, which it may seem like we kind of have right now. If we're fortunate enough, my friend, may the trading gods be in our favor and odds, we head right back towards the volume weighted average price. That would be ideal. I like what I'm seeing on the lower time frames. Could be an ad opportunity. Let's see if we can take advantage of this trade and try to get a solid winner here for us today.
All right, man. Excuse me. I do apologize for the hot mic, guys. You know, it gets heated around here, right? And this piece of EONR is not letting me in, Joey. Just keeps rocketing up. I keep trying to I'm not going to chase after it. It has to come in to a technical level. Chasing after it just opens the door for all sorts of, you know, craziness and it gets your trading structure just goes all over the place. So it's not letting me in. I'm trying to pick it up off of a key moving average, and it just keeps rocketing up. I guess that's kind of this one's characteristic. EONR continuing to go. But I want to tell you guys, Mob Deep is absolutely back. MOBX, 83.70 high, coming back down now in 80 3/4. Good breakout. I want to say the breakout really happened at around 77.5. It looks like that's where the flat top came in. In fact, that was the implied balance high. 9:55 candle and 10 o'clock candle, all rejected. 77 and change. That's all until, of course, the 11:20 candle, which sent this one absolutely rocketing to the high side, 83.70. Now it's up 21 and change. My estimation here is this: if it loses 80. Could be on the bigger part, or could be, you know, a bigger retracement, possibly down. Let's see if 80 holds. If 80 doesn't hold, I'm looking to that breakout area I just articulated, 77, 77.5. I'd likely front run it because it's going to get to be a crowded trade, much like EONR. So I'm thinking maybe even around 78. With risk all the way down to about $0.75, maybe even a little bit higher if you want to shore up your risk there. So MOBX on the NQ up 20 and change. Not a big percentage winner on the day, but a nice breakout there off a key technical level. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Here comes EONR. Let's take a quick look at this one. Topping tail candle. Not the end all and be all in the world of small cap gappers. Quite frankly, people got to take profits, especially when you're on your way way to the $0.50, much like EONR is with a 44 penny high, right? So let's see if this one gives us an opportunity. Now, what I keep looking at on my top screen is this. This is the multi-time frame analysis. Top left, 1, top right, 5, bottom left, 15, bottom right, hourly. So we're going to keep an eye on the multi-time frame, see where it's picking up support and or resistance so we can make educated guesses about how to get in and where to get out. So this one, it looks like it's holding up, EONR that is, again at the 10 EMA. When you perceive this one on the 1, and I don't chart on the 1 often, but it's going to help in these cases, the deeper retracements come into the 20. The more shallow retracements all find support at the 10. That's on the 1 minute time frame, top left of your screen. Doji candle that just closed, prior bar high above the Doge is 140. So if it gets into 141, that could be a reclaiming of trend and a possible move into 1.5. But I hate the fact that it's already close to the $0.50 because then I know I'm going to have to deal with the resistance at the $0.50, and that always dissuades me a little bit from getting in, especially in the 40s, high 30s. But that's my problem, not yours. So,
all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought that was a little tricky, a little move over there. All right, no, I was just going over a couple of the stats, guys, and I wrote this in the chat. So it please me? It grinds my gears. It irks me. You know when you just have a bunch of frustration built in. So I'll tell you guys, full disclosure, and I've changed nothing methodically. So I have as many, and it pains me to say this. It truly does. I have as many red days this month already. We're in the second week that I had all of last month. Right? Yeah, that's all you can do, man. Eventually it'll come. So it's just you try to keep them as small as you possibly can.
Exactly, Joe.
But you don't even understand the level of frustration is beyond any form of means, all right? You can't allow that to cloud our judgment too much, though. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Like, this is part of the nature of the beast. Super chat, we can pop that up there. But there goes the momentum. I thought, hey, we didn't break that level that we were looking at here on the Nasdaq. We did form some indecision prints, but now we breached it to the downside, so not too good of a look. Can you look at SPY and VIX and Oxy? Oxycon's killing it. All right, yeah, I mean, no contracts. Oxyconn.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, no. They didn't go there.
I thought that at first as well, too,
also
but
you even
no.
saw it. Okay, Joey.
All right, so yeah, let's go over those couple of names. And trust me, I'm not looking for, I'm just letting you guys know, like, I don't need, I appreciate the apologies and, like, we'll rebound and absolutely everything, but again, we push the keys over here, right? Okay. So we gotta figure something out. All right, OXY, let's take a look at that bad boy.
2R.
Not too bad on the 5 minute. This is what we want to see, nice and steady up and to the right. I bet you USO is climbing higher here as the Nasdaq is diving. So we're getting that inverse correlation. Unless we get some form of news, maybe it's just continuously stay long this name. And I don't know, whoever it was said stay short the overall market until things change. It sounds like they're onto something. All right, so I mean that's how it goes there. And then what else was it? SPY? Did they ask there, Sharif? If we can get that super chat popped up one more time there, brother. That'd be fantastic. But we'll take a look at the SPY. Can you look at SPY/VIX? Yeah, and we'll pull up some VIX options activity here momentarily, and we'll take a look at some of the charting. So here it is, SPY finding somewhat of a bottom, hopefully, and maybe we get a rebound back towards the volume-weighted average price. But once again, we have that inverse correlation. Now, as for the VIX, baby. Let's see what we got going on here. Boom, we don't want to look at the options up to the top side.
Top side?
Yeah, exactly. And what do we got here on the daily, Sharif?
What do you got, Joey?
Wow, a nice steady uptrend all the way up to 27 and change. When the volatility kicked in, 35 schmackers. And I was having a conversation with some individuals the other day of just, hey, it's a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, that is, to buy and anticipate the increase in volatility, opposed to waiting until things start to cool down and buying the puts in the VIX. So that's exactly what I'm looking at. And also, we had an opportunity. So we experienced this run here, so kind of moving all over the place, but I want to head to another underlying, and that's going to be SLV, right? And I want us to look at this from a daily. So there's multiple ways that you can play this. Okay, so you can buy the puts, obviously you can short the underlying, or you can be patient. And if you're an options writer, you love these high volatility events. Why? Because in the near future, you're going to be able to collect some premium from these contracts. Now, what am I leading to? Let's head over to the options chain, because we seen in silver, it was significantly high implied volatility, and then things cooled down. So we were looking at 180%, 200% at some time, and then now we're sitting at a cool 69% in SLV. So you can collect premium off of that itself. As I'm talking, we're getting a little bit of a move here in the TQQs. This is what I'm talking about. We're gonna hold on to this bad boy. Tesla climbing higher. Now let's move over to USO, okay?
Obi's getting lit, Joey. Obi's getting lit.
Yeah, my boy's short. My boy's short over there. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, sorry. Someone asked us to stop hitting the bang, so we'll hit the stone cold from that one.
That's
crazy. We're not gonna go with this. We're not gonna go there. 175%. Yeah, I mean 175%.
Oh, okay.
175% at the money. I'm pointing at the screen.
Yo, oil is dropping, Joe.
I know it's dropping because the Nasdaq is climbing higher here. We got NVDA climbing higher. It's starting to rebound. I don't even have to look at it because of the inverse correlation between the two. Let's hear what AGRZ got for us.
Minister in Iran saying they're not laying mines in the Hormuz Strait, as reported by the Associated Free Press. So no mines being laid in the Hormuz Strait, as reported by the Associated Free Press, citing a deputy minister of Iran. Back to you.
I need the keys to your apartment. I'm not going to steal anything, okay? Just bring it over here. Let me know what the code to the safe is and everything.
Oh, that
you know what I mean?
I can give you the keys to my apartment, but I cannot give you the code to my safe.
Why?
Oh,
why?
Stop.
Why?
That safe is for...
for what? For your pals? If you're from Canada, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're American, you're like,
we keep that... that
all right, can I show this?
Locked and loaded, baby.
As soon as Obi started yelling, I knew oil was dropping. Couple reasons. TPET, obviously an oil play. We took a big boy trade on this one. But as soon as Obi started freaking out, I knew that oil was coming down because this one actually reacted. So I was like, no, that's it. There's oil news. This is obviously marching to the beat of oil's drum. Got out, profit on everything. Didn't give back anything on there. In fact, waited for the big print there, which was at 87s. Obviously, it didn't make it to 2R, which is fine. We got to march to the beat of oil's drum, but in any event, ends up being a profitable trade.
But look how headline sensitive it is right now, right?
Super headline sensitive. I mean, it's aggressive. Yeah, oil, guys.
Good. Like literally just sell off to oblivion, essentially.
Bro, this I don't mind. Bring it to zero.
Bring it to zero.
Bring it to zero. I don't care, right? Like I've had it. Obviously, probably not that good for the province of Alberta, though, Joey.
I mean, I think they're doing all right. And too bad we don't have our own refineries and just make our own and not have
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff we don't have that we should have had. We were building aggressively for those 10 years. Don't forget about it. There was a lot of economic activity between 2015 and 2025. It was the booming period of Canada.
2025?
Yeah, of course.
2015, I thought it was.
I'm being exactly the opposite of what I mean. Exactly the opposite of what I mean. Give me a break, bro.
Let's tax the investors more. We'll hit them with some capital gains. You know what I mean?
Why not? You got money to give.
You got money to give, so you can give it to the government, and we can obviously hire some more government jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Let's juice those. Let's juice the economic numbers by hiring everybody in the public sector. Fantastic government they were. In any event, let's
That's how we like to party.
Guys, all the oil names, USO is at VWAP, okay? So USO hasn't dropped, it's still up 7 3/4, but look what Battle did. It was trading in a compression pattern, drops all the way down, TPET all the way down, EONR all the way down. But here comes LWLG. My breakout level is coming in pretty soon. We'll talk about it. There it is when we get back from Madeira.
I have another detail here from this headline. So again, a deputy minister of Iran saying that they are not laying mines to the Strait of Hormuz. They're furthermore saying they're actually allowing some ships to cross the strait. So they're not only saying, hey, we're not laying mines, they're even saying, yeah, we're letting some ships go through, not specifying where or what ships. I don't have any specification here, but just keep an eye on that. Also, I mean, we were shouting out Obi with oil. I have to shout Obi with this next one, unfortunately. BW getting a short report from Wolfpack Research. It did spike a little bit lower here. We've got like a 60-cent move to the downside here in BW again. This one is the victim of a short report from Wolfpack. Back to you.
What do you got going on? And there it goes.
Do you remember, what's it called? What was that Vegas movie again? The Hangover.
Yeah, the
And it's like
Wolfpack,
the Wolfpack, they're on the roof of the hotel.
Yeah,
This
and
guy cuts himself and, oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
it's
he cuts
so
himself.
good.
You're like, what are you doing? Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're blood brothers now, man.
He's like, that's Alan, but what's Bradley Cooper's character's name?
I forget, but
Yeah,
He's
he's
like the teacher who hates his students
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
steals
yeah,
from them because like they're
But it's like
going
Alan's
on a
best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He
he
tells
steals
them
all
that they're
the-
going on a field trip and
and
that's
takes
his
all the
Vegas money.
Yeah.
Unreal. I would never do that. LWLG, here we go, guys. That's taking out the, let's say 13, 14 in any event. It's showing 714s right now. I'm talking about LWLG. Let's load it up on the multi-time frame look. What do we got over here? Let's bring it down and have a little discussion about what this one's looking like. All right, multiple topping tail candles. You can see that on the hourly bottom right of your screen. And then when you look at the 5, we're still putting in a downtrend, but most notably, I would say we're still above, or we got above, number one, $7 on a closing basis. This one has not been above $7 on a closing basis since it dropped at 10.15, consolidated, held VWAP. That's the good look. Now it's above 7 on a close. Here's the deal. We're going to get long if this breaches prior bar high. Prior bar high 716, that would necessitate a 17 long. We're going to do it now. Joey, I got to send it to you, throw in order.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, so there it is up on the TQQs, guys. We've been long off of these lows. I mean, we'll wait a little bit longer. See, the thing is, I'm going to get a little bit greedy on this one because if this downward momentum continues in USO, then I think we're going to be able to get a nice pop. We've seen it in NVDA and some of the other larger participants that we did have the ability to breach. Microsoft is slowly coming back in, but it could be something positive. We could totally reject everything, but Apple putting in some nice indecision prints off the low, and we have the Mag 7 starting to find somewhat of their footing and a rebound. So may as well hold on to it. If it's working, may as well rock and roll. If it comes back against us, so be it. But yeah, I like this potential trade as USO. Oops, I just kind of switched those up. As USO it's going to be volatile, right? We looked at the options chain, so there it goes. It gets a rebound. It pulls the Nasdaq back in 20 cents off of that previous pivot high. Let's see if we can continue. But the volatility is most definitely in. We've seen that on the options chain, probably even increased a little bit more. So let's pull it back up. We were sitting at 170%. Now we're sitting at 173. So you can see the increase in implied volatility in the USO. So we're right back to our entry point. Didn't take anything off, not going to feel any type of way just in case that the oil, the U.S. oil ETF continues to slide.
No.
All right, so yeah, it's not looking too good as it's rebounding, bounces off the volume weighted average price, but a drastic increase in volume, right? So we talk about headline sensitivity, we're in that. So they're saying, somebody's saying they're doing something, the market tanks, someone says they're not doing it, the market rips, and vice versa. So just be prepared to sit through these volatility spikes because you never know what's going to happen or who's going to drop what. All right, so we'll definitely keep that into consideration. Meta is heading right towards the low, but if we look at the tech space, really, really weak right now. Broadcom, rebound too. Like it did head towards the volume weighted average price. You get a little bit above it, but then unfortunately you come right back in. Same with Meta, heading right back towards the low of the day. Let's see if we can find our footing on this one. We just did that. Tesla was looking pretty good to me, but then now you're starting to come back in. But most definitely the strongest one is going to be at the top of the list. So I'll keep an eye on it. But I liked also what Apple was doing. Let's get Apple above Softy up there. A nice 5-minute print here. How does it do that? 2 different styles of prints on the, oh, that's Microsoft, that's why. Okay, I like this candle right here. If it had more volume, I would love it, but I like it how it is right now.
Whoa. What happened? Was that you, Fabian?
No, it was Assassino hit the thing. It's,
That's Fabian on the 1s and 2s.
Possibly.
That fades?
Possibly not.
Fade?
Who knows?
Got the button for it.
I can't hear you, brother.
You gotta listen, man.
No, I still can't hear you, Fabian.
Well, everyone
I'm
can
logged
on
in,
stream
too.
Yeah,
can.
Fabian, I can't hear you either, brother.
Okay.
All right.
Let's. I'm keeping an eye here, Joey, on LWLG. I was getting a little gung-ho to punch in. I'd rather this candle close. I'm talking about the current 5-minute candle on the 5. Yeah, 5-minute candle on the 5. calm down, Sharif. The low of which is 712, high 718. So I'd like to base my out on the current bar low, but I'm gonna wait. Okay? High of day 739. If we breach, we're likely going to 7.5. That's my bias. I can give it to current bar low right now, but it just feels a bit top heavy. I'm keeping an eye here on the multi-time frame at the top. It looks like the 1 minute, you know, they're selling here into the 1 minute, unable to breach prior high. So yeah, I don't feel exuberant about it at the moment. So I'm going to wait on LWLG. Bovin is telling me about QNTM. I took a look at it, Bovin. I wasn't exactly enthralled by it, but it's not bad. It's a little light on vol, as you can kind of see. This is QNTM right here. Bovin, it looks like it sold off super aggressive at around noon yesterday. When all was said and done, it got to about 210. It's putting in a hell of a rounded bottom here, coming in almost into the levels we were at before it sold off, which is about 295. I think it got to about 305 yesterday. Coming into that level right now. There is this level as well at 1010, the high of which is 291. So that's the official high at day. Here it comes into 290. It's not a bad look, Bovin, on QNTM. There it is, breaching high of day 295. It's on the way to 3. It's up 40.5%. And if we get into 3 and we hold above 3, this could be a big mover. Let's find out what the hell this is. QNTM, obviously probably something to do with quantum. So biopharma, Canada-based biopharmaceutical company engaged in building portfolio of assets, biotechnology treatment, challenging neurodegenerative metabolic disorders. Okay, great. 304, there is the squeeze. What a move up here for QNTM. Good call above it. Now we've breached yesterday's high. So this one's on the way up. And it has a bunch of headlines from yesterday about debentures. It looks like they were doing something to restructure their debt.
That's the ETF, right?
QNTM? No, it's a Canada biopharma company. It just sounds like a quantum ETF, but it's fine, brother. It's Bovin, keep tagging me. This is a good look here. Look at QNTM go. We were talking about this at 285. It just got to 320. Holy cow. Very strong name. Trade it carefully, guys. Up almost 50%. Roma as well. Bovin keeps yelling about Roma. This one I like a little bit less, but you know we definitely have some things, some price levels to aspire to. That 10 a.m. high took us to about 857. We're showing 645. Good recovery. A bit of a V-shaped recovery over here. Be on the lookout for that. But I'm much more interested in QNTM. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's see if it comes back down into that breakout level. 295, 285. We'll give that one a look here, Joey. But we're going to go up to Adara at the big desk.
More stocks on the move here amidst some concerns that the industries they're in could be dominated by Claude or other AIs. Here is APPN. This is Appian. DOMO is another stock you could watch on this, but it's not really reacting at all. APPN, though, is to the downside. Claude now apparently creating interactive charts, diagrams, and visualizations according to a article from its website. So again, amid some concerns that Claude could become some competition, APPN Appian is trading lower. Back to you.
Apparently is moving. Sidhu is on the move. Okay, let's find out what the do is doing. I hope he just looks right away. It's like his head's programmed. Anytime he hears Sidhu. Apparently it's moving. Let's take a quick look at the do over here, see what it's up to. Yeah, I put QNTM on the side chart there. Coming down into 3, guys. This could be a good entry point, but let's take a quick look at Sidhu. Yeah, good structure on the do over here. It's up 12 and change, taking out that 2.25, coming down a little bit now. It's only up 12%, but a decent structure, higher lows, higher highs. Bull flag continuation on SIDU. This is a former convict. We know all about Sidhu. It has been on the side chart and the scanner many a time in any event. Here are the levels. I perceive the breakout level to be around the fifth of a dollar, and that's exactly where the 10 EMA on the 5 is showing right now. So it could be a good buy area off that 220 area. Take a quick look at that. There's also the bull flag breakout, initial bull flag breakout, I should say, 930 move. The top end of the range is around 213. That's the wick. The close goes to about 210. The low end of the range looks like it found support at 7. So that's bull flag number 1. Then boom, bull flag number 2. Converts itself from a bull flag into an upward channel, which is fine. Keep an eye out on that. You can play the range, or you can look to the breakout level, as I mentioned, around 213. That also happens to overlap with the volume weighted average price, so you could find a good area of support there. Be on the lookout for that. So that's SIDU. We're not going to put it on the side chart quite yet, but we're going to keep an eye out on that. Secondly, I want to mention here that AGRZ, whatever, is finding now a 4-bar support at the WAP, at the volume weighted average price, 1135, 40, 45, 50, all defend the volume weighted average price. That's a good news. Bad news is unbroken downtrend. You can see the lower trend line there. So I'm going to wait for a decisive break of that trend line. I also have a bias that this has to be trading above 75 pennies for me to get in, basically because of this breakout level here. So AGRZ, good trade initially, but we had to get the hell out of there as the bottom was dropping off. Bovin keeps saying that Roma's making a move. Let's take a look at Roma again before we see what your boy Joey Opsh up to. Okay, Bovin, it got above VWAP. I get that. It's not bad, Bovin. It's not bad, but you're okay with these lightly traded ones, right? To me, I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't mind it, especially if we can start getting back above 7, start challenging for 8. I'm going to keep it on the side chart, but for now, I'm going to keep my eye on AGRZ, Joey. It looks like it might be breaking trend.
Yeah, Los. I was looking at that Los Pollos. But I'm looking at USO as well too. I have that. Apple has the same thing. Amazon, but it's already it's past that. I don't see what Joe has had enough Webull gone to Lightspeed.
I don't even know what that means. Were you ever on Webull?
No. You said he's. I think he's kind of referring to himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Joe finally had enough of Webull gone to Lightspeed. Yeah, you need that direct access, my friend. I know Los Pollos was saying something about Amazon. I don't see anything, but what I do see here is on Apple. If this holds up, that could be a good potential play there as well, but not much volume there. Put the call ratio on the Qs. Thoughts 1.68. Isn't that typically what it sits around? I'd have to go through a couple of my old. I remember I used to have it up on here, but I haven't looked at it in quite some time, to be honest with you. And then Los Pollos was saying, bro, Amazon and Nvidia 5 minutes. I see it on Apple. I don't see it on NVDA, except for at the lows, right? And we're kind of past that narrative. So you had that double bottom, and that's what I was looking at here in the Nasdaq. But we're not really doing anything right now. Maybe we can get an additional move higher and finally breach the volume weighted average price and not tank, especially if these names participate, obviously, then I think we're going to be doing just fine. But I don't see it on Amazon, right? I think it's a little bit more clear here on NVDA. These bunch of buying pressure stepping in. I don't know if Tesla has it either. An indecision print when it just skyrockets after that point. We can see it in the Nasdaq a little bit here. Some prints here, buying pressure, and then eventually we make that move higher. But I'm not seeing it that clear on Amazon. But the other ones I do agree with you with. Now, as for Webull, yeah, I mean, hey, not very liquid, and I know you're just saying from a charting standpoint. I've never personally used it. I remember I was thinking about this the other day. And again, this is my opinion. Avoid the web browsers if you can and get a standalone software. Okay, I think that makes a drastic difference. Okay, web browser, delay. Standalone software is when you can really figure out your market delay in milliseconds, because I don't even think that TradingView gives you an option to even look at what your market delay is. And it's huge. In a game of pennies and in a game of seconds, I think that matters 110%.
All right, shout out to QB's Mo85. I think those are Norwegian kroners. Thank you for the 20 Norwegian kroners there, my man. This has made me chuckle. Iranians will soon 180 and say they mined Hormuz. Let's not paint all Iranians with one brush. Let's just say the current Iranian regime, all right? I know plenty of Persians who, they don't like that Iranian regime. And I'm pretty sure Toronto's probably like 1 or 2 or 3 for Persian immigrants in North America. I think LA is number 1. Fact check me on that, chat, if you guys have the information. But there is a ton of them here, and none of them really like them, so I wouldn't paint with one brush. Here comes AGRZ. I'm looking to go long 78. So let's keep an eye on this one. It's breaking trend. I'm putting the order now. Let's see if it activates. There it goes. It didn't give it to me. It didn't give it to me, and I put in a script. These script orders are fantastic. So let's see exactly what we get here. This is on the rampage to the high side, guys, and it's not letting me in. There's the move here on ARGZ. Does it continue? Does it have resistance at 80? Current bar low is 73.74. Does it have the room to take out 80? We're going to go long over here. We're giving it to current bar low. Joey, take over for a sec so I can put in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm looking here. I'm kind of comparing, looking for that inverse. If USO breaks this support level, then I think that's going to be the time when we can punch through the volume weighted average price here on the TQQs. All right. So we're keeping our eyes on it. Selling pressure, consistent high, lower highs. Now let's see if this can stay intact, or you might get a squeeze. Right, that's what I'm going to be keeping my eyes out. If it squeezes aggressively, pops on the backside of this trend line, you might find somewhat of a recovery here in USO, and that's going to drag the Nasdaq down. So we're heading at the lower end of that range. Can we get an open lower, or are we going to keep bouncing off of this support level and then eventually sit on the backside of this trend and then maybe find somewhat of a rebound? For me, I want this to sell off a little bit here, right? I mean, we've been on an absolute monster run. We did see some supply, but I don't know how at 120. I just don't know how much of a factor that's actually going to be, considering how headline sensitive we are. If they're like, hey, I don't think it's going to be worried about what the derivatives market is overly up to. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, we have a supply zone at 120 here on USO. Let's start pushing price a little bit lower. I don't think that's going to necessarily be the narrative here. But yeah, there it is. 1 minute candle breaks up on the backside of this trend. So that downtrend in that triangle that we were just looking at right now seems to be broken. And then sure enough, I wouldn't be surprised if momentarily we see an aggressive downtick here in the Nasdaq. But it is starting to climb. It's being led by NVDA. Come on, you can do it. You can push us a little bit higher. Tesla's starting to climb as well too. We are right almost at opening price here. We are past the opening price on NVDA. So if you're going to rely on anybody to lead you forward, it's going to be this name, in my opinion, and it seems to be doing so. Maybe it would have been best to take a trade off of this low instead of playing the Nasdaq as it's starting to come back in, and it's really struggling to break the volume weighted average price.
All right, that's the, I think, umpteenth time that ARGZ has tried to take out 80 pennies, and it's failed miserably again. And it's not exactly like it's an ascending wedge pattern. I was profitable on all parts of this trade because you kept seeing the resistance come in. But yeah, there it is. That 80 penny level really is the target for the shorts over here. They keep defending it, and they defend it quite staunchly on ARGZ. So we're going to need to be alive to that 80 penny level. Now, upon further analysis, you can very clearly see that none of the closing prints have actually been above that 80 penny level. Wick only. So I think my next trade, unless it's like some outlier, will have to be an 80 penny close above, a close above 80 pennies. And then my bias, of course, will be the move into the dollar-ish area. But I'm not going to have to fight the shorts here that have been defending that 80 penny level basically all day, whether or not it found 4 bars of support at VWAP. That's not the move here. I'm not trying to fight these guys. We need to clear them, and then we'll have a discussion about what we can do after that. But for the moment, Joey and I want to take a little bit of a break. We're going to send you up to the big desk with Adara for Happening Now.
There's really no shortage of things that are happening at any point, at any time today in the market. Let's get into it. Right now, S&P 500, I mean, still definitely bouncing here off of lows. Tons of different headlines to digest across sectors. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time getting into oil. There is one Tesla headline I want to mention. It did come out a couple minutes ago, and I figured I'd just kind of wait to bring it to you guys to Happening Now, because as you can see, Tesla basically flat on the last 15-minute candle, not too much happening. Elon Musk, CEO of the company, posting on X that Tesla will be deploying millions of dedicated digital Optimus units in the field at superchargers where they have roughly 7 gigawatts of available power. So kind of Optimus and combined charging catalyst there for Tesla. I'm also just now seeing a headline on Meta. Looks like this just came out. The company introducing new AI tools on the Facebook marketplace. So now that we've gone through breaking news for some of these Mag 7 names, we're going to take a look at what's going on here with oil. So tons of oil headlines. There were 2 that led to sharp drops. The first one came here around 10:45 a.m. That was the idea at that point, just a report that the U.S. was considering waiving the Jones Act for a limited period of time. That basically would mean that the U.S. would be considering allowing non-U.S. flagged or crewed ships to pass U.S. items between the ports here. So Apparently, this is now confirmed. Caroline Levitt saying the U.S. is in fact considering waiving the act, but the action is not yet finalized. The second drop here, which is of course much more significant and sustained, came around 11:40 a.m. and that happened when we had Iran saying that they are not in fact laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, previously we had heard multiple reports indicating that in fact they were. Let's talk about PLTR. They had their AIP Con event. I think we thought this would be a lot more exciting than it actually was. The stock seems unsure how to react to this. It's been chopping around. Only one, well now I guess two Palantir executives, one of whom was Alex Karp, have actually made an appearance at this event, and apparently that's because Palantir likes to say they don't want to have any of their executives really presenting. They want this event to be about the clients. So either way here, it is worth noting there's other stocks to keep an eye on here. GE Aerospace, Accenture, SAP, executives from all of those companies have already appeared at AIPCon. Palantir also announced deals with the likes of Nvidia, ONDS, and LEU prior to the start of the event. And earnings are still going to be in watch. I mean, earnings day one plays today. There weren't too many. You had Dollar General, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lee Auto, Bumble, and UiPath. Tonight after the bell, though, we get a whole doozy. Adobe is one of them. You can find this recap of their prior quarter earnings on X at TTV Research, but we'll also get Ulta, Service Titan, and Rubrik, amongst others. So definitely prepare for those earnings releases on X at TTV Research. But in the meantime, we're going to send you back over for more Midday Madness.
Guys, so as I was thinking here, I'm like, man, it's really odd watching NVDA rip how it is and the Nasdaq not really participating. But we finally get that move through the volume-weighted average price. And I'm like, hey, the volume on these pushes are relatively weak. So, I mean, I allowed this to sit against me for about 30 cents or so. So I'm going to piece a little bit off, about 30%, right where we're currently sitting, and see if we can get a little bit there. Obviously not catching the fill that I would like. Class. So yeah, let's see. I got to keep hitting the bid here, Sharif, for what I want. There it is, boom. I took a little bit off there. Still sitting on approximately 66 of the position, but I thought we would have been significantly stronger considering what we're experiencing right now in NVDA. It's now past the high of the day. It's broke through that opening range, that 5-minute opening range. You're now north of that. You had a rebound in some of the other names. Google climbing right back towards the volume-weighted average price, right? So we had Amazon starting to climb higher as well, right back at the volume-weighted average price. But yet we never got that strong move. And I'm like, what is going on here? Didn't really make too much sense. I mean, Apple's still hovering, but there's just days that the Qs is just so heavily correlated with NVDA. It just essentially tracks it and trades in tandem, but that wasn't necessarily the case, which I would have believed led us into $48 on the TQQs there, Sharif.
All right, AGRZ broke while I was gone. It's above 80. It hasn't closed quite yet. Topping tail into 87.37, but look how convicted the shorts are. So I've programmed my entry for an 83 entry, so right around here. Let's go. All right, we're long. We're gonna give this to 79, so here it goes. Let's give this one the old college try. See what this one has to offer. So 2R on this one is 91. Here comes, what do we got? All right, good, good, good. All right, there's the move into 85, looking for 86 now. Remember, 87.37, the high, okay? There it goes, looking for an 86 clearance. A lot of selling at around 85 and change. Coming back down now into 85. No continuation, sadly, into 87.37, but we're gonna give this one to candle low. Candle low takes us into 79 territory. It keeps dropping though. So I have to keep my eye on the multi-time frame to see if there's any trend change. 10 EMA on the 1 is around 82. 10 EMA on the 5, distinctly different. Shout out to my man O, but around 78. So that's the look there. Looking for the continuation. We're not getting continuation here. It's ending up as a topping tail candle again. Possibly for the moment. Let's see if this one can work its way up. Still saving the majority of the risk for 2R, but just alive to the fact that we keep putting in lower highs on the level 2. Now there's an 84 seller, an aggressive 84 seller. Let's see if we can shake them. So keeping an eye on that. No continuation through 84, 83.60 now showing up. We need to see something above 84 to kind of know that we've taken out the short seller and or the profit taker. There's 84 again, and look at the size at 84. Nothing is shaking here through 84. There's a lot of selling and not even above it, like fractionally. That's how aggressive the short seller is at 84 and or the profit taker. So we can't shake that seller. Joe, I got to send it to you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I'm talking about. So there was something fishy going on. Now we just engulfed that whole move. This is now back OTM. I did take some off, but you just sell off 70 pennies just like that. I'm like, what's going on? NVDA is climbing higher. Now it's pulling back aggressively, but we didn't participate in the Nasdaq. Okay, now you have USO climbing. That downtrend broke. This is what I was talking about earlier, and then now you're starting to climb back higher once again. So if we didn't break that support level, you open up on the backside of this trend, you pull back, retest, and then now you're off to the races. And guess what? You have that inverse correlation in the Nasdaq. So if it breaks this support level, I'm out. I don't know if there's any form of news or anything along those lines. And Taylor, we always say here, you have to make your own decisions, all right? So when I'm up here, maybe I take some more off. Should I get out at break even? Absolutely, but I was looking for 48, okay? We're down 4.5% now in the TQQs, all right? So I'm gonna be keeping my eyes on this. If we crack through this support level, I'm now a little bit lighter due to size. 46.90, we're at a dodge because it looks like USO wants to fully recover on this rebound. Tesla putting an indecision print, but we have to be cautious on what we see displayed on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, we can rebound off of this. Apple's starting to go. That's a positive sign. We like it. Maybe we're going to find a rebound, but again, we have to look at the correlation between USO right now and the Nasdaq. So that's what I have my eyes on, and I will continuously have my eyes on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just continuing to watch here as 84 comes. I want to see if we can take out the 84 seller because we were dipping down. There's 84. It looks like we're fractionally above it, but look at the defending at 84, and then it drops back down. They've earmarked 84 here. There it goes into 84.5, moving up now a little bit. Here comes 85. There's 85. We wet the beak there, small amount. We're looking still for the high of the freaking day. Okay, 87.37, waiting for the print, 86.5 coming in. Let's see if we can mosey on up, breach prior bar high. Prior bar high is the high of the day. This one should be able to make it to the dollar area. That's just, that's my bias on these ones. Once you're in the 80s, you're a penny stock, you're at least going to glance at that dollar. Continuing to watch here, looking for a high of day break. Here comes 87. 86.50, 86.60, but no continuation, no continue frickin' wation. Annoying, but that's fine there. We'll continue to watch and see what we can get on AGRZ. I'd like this to resolve a little bit quicker here. I mean, I'm a man of limited patience. I don't like to dilly-dally with these penny stocks, Joey, because, they're pennies. Anyway, so keeping an eye out on this one. We're going to Adara.
Oil remains in focus here. USO bouncing a little bit here from these lows near that 117 level. Apparently, heating oil is now over $5 a gallon. So tight oil supply leading to an increase in prices. Not only do we have, of course, petroleum to worry about, but it looks like heating oil also a concern. I'm also seeing that Total Energies is shutting down its production in Qatar, Iraq, and UAE offshore. Their onshore UAE production, however, will not be affected by the conflict and tensions here in the Middle East. If I get more news, I will let you know. Furthermore, actually, as I speak, I do have another headline. This one involves China, so keep an eye on FXI, which actually pulled back a little bit here, although that could be with the market. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reportedly set to travel to France from March 15th to 16th. That would be Sunday to Monday to meet with Vice Premier of China, He Lifeng. Back to you.
Just another manic Monday here. All right, it's Thursday, but anyways, aside from that, guys, let's keep our eyes on this. A nice climb back higher. We're going to be going over a couple of the same names throughout the day. What has CrowdStrike been up to today? Oh, a pretty tough session here. Did climb up to 449. How are we looking on the backside of that trend there? Still holding up, right? And this is exactly what we want to see. Haven't looked, you know that song, right? Just another manic. Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Oh,
there you go. That's what I mean. You don't like that song?
I like it.
All right. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 3 consecutive down days, a slow curl over. Let's see if that volume, it does seem relatively cool, but we had a massive move, and we talked about this on countless occasions. Wait for that trend line. Where did we just see this? You can translate multiple time frames within each other. So Netflix, trend break, climbs higher. Now let's head over to USO. We just drew the most basic things, and it decided to climb higher. Did we capitalize on it? No, but maybe we should start taking more advantage of it. Neil loves the trend line break, considering that's almost picture perfect right there, textbook-esque, and sure enough, you get a nice climb. So a trend line break, and then you're off to the races.
All right, man, I'm still holding the same position. Nothing to add onto here. Continuing to watch for prior bar breaches. We haven't breached prior bars, so the trend is still intact. Current bar low is 82.53. We're showing 85 and change. I'm looking for a move above high of day, which has eluded us. So current bar actually is a lower high. So 86.80 on current bar high. Prior bar 87. 87.37, that's in fact the high of the day. So I'm looking for a move past current bar low. As soon as this candle closes in about 20 seconds, it'll be based, of course, on prior bar low, which is the current candle, but it's still not giving me a reason to get out, and that's the thing. So the higher low trend is intact. Irrespective of where I got in, I need to be alive to the higher low trend. Here we go again, moving into 86. Let's see if we can kind of take out some 87 sellers. I'm going to go ahead and wait closely here. There's 87. There's a freaking high of day. Boom.
Dang.
All right, looking for continuation now. Still holding. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. 87, 87 high, but as we've seen with this one, it is very thickly traded. You're likely going to encounter resistance at almost every area you end up encountering. So coming back down now, let's see if it breaches prior bar. Again, prior bar low, 82.53. Coming back down into 85, so selling at almost every level. And fractional breaches too, that's the thing. When you're able to breach prior bar high or prior day high, you're breaching it by like anemic levels. I think it was 87.37 last prior high. Now we just got into 87.87. Oof. Let's keep an eye out on this one. I have really nothing to do other than continue to watch this. Profitable on everything we've done today, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. By the way, woof, guys, just got into the volume weighted average price, WOOF, into that 310 area. I'm not going to change the screen here because I have to watch this specific one, but WOOF at the volume weighted average price at around 310. That might interest some people. Separately, I want to say EONR is making another move possibly into that 1 1/3 area, but it's rejecting 1 1/3 for now, but still holding prior bar low. Sorry, guys, can't change the screen. Going to keep an eye out on this one until we possibly get into about 90. That's where I'm looking at taking the majority of the prints. Again, my 2R on this one is 91, but I will take it out at 90. If it, of course, makes its way up to 90. As always, guys, if there are any other small cap gappers that you have your eye on that I haven't mentioned, I'd love to hear about them, but just tag me so that I do see your message there. I also want to mention that this one, AGRZ, has been holding the 10 EMA on the 1 quite well. So if it loses the 10 EMA on the 1, I think that's where I'm going to stop out, even if it's still above my entry or my current stop. The reason is it's been holding that trend, I want to say, since it reclaimed it around 11.58. Yeah, 11.58. It hasn't lost trend. 11.58, yeah, that's when it reclaimed it. It actually defended it at 12.04. So if it loses trend there, then, that's really my exit. Continuing to watch here. Here comes 84. There's a loss of trend, and I'm out. So we'll take the profits and run with this one. So good trade, but didn't quite make it up into 2R, so can't really call it that good of a trade. LWLG coming back into some predictable areas. It looks like it may want another attempt here at 7 1/5, with 739 being the area high. That's the high from the aftermarket. That's a high from this morning as well at around 10 o'clock. So be on the lookout there. Ascending wedge pattern on LWLG. You've got some higher lows here with that let's say 715 to 720 flat top on LWLG. Very happy with my out. Alive to the break of trend here on ARGZ. There it goes, breaking down. Let's see if it breaks down through prior bar low. It certainly lost the trend on the 1 minute chart. Prior bar low is 82.53. We're at 82.80. Let's see if we can lose prior bar low. If we can, we may find support at around 80 pennies. So that's what I'm kind of looking at there. Anything else? Oh, ONDS, people are saying. Let's have a look at some of those tickers there now that I'm out of this position.
Sorry, oops, excuse me. I shouldn't say that, but MSTR.
What happened?
Screw that name, man.
ONDS?
Yeah.
You're mad at this one, eh?
Big time.
What happened?
We're not friends.
You're not friends. All right, I respect that. Let's have a look at ONDS over here. Support, it looks like, I don't know, man. This one's all over the freaking map,
Yeah, it
man.
is all over the map.
I wouldn't trade this. I mean,
good.
it's all over the map, right? Like, why choose this one when you have? I don't mean to poop on you, bro. That's not what I mean.
No. Go back to the old chart ski there and see what we have on the pre-market, right?
Yeah.
So the pre-market, yeah, right.
Yeah,
so
okay.
that's what I was looking at for continuation, and then maybe a breakout of the.
But look what it did after
daily
that.
zone. Yeah, it did nothing. I'm glad that we got out of that on multiple occasions. But if you even look at the daily, it's just kind of stuck within a chop zone. I wanted to ask you this, Fabian. You know that one sound that you have that's like, what movie is that from? That eerie one that you put on. Yeah, because I remember everybody's talking about that one.
From
these
the
days, and
movie
I've watched
called
it a couple of
Annihilation
times.
with Natalie Portman.
Yeah, if you could hit that, that'd be absolutely. Yeah. That movie. What movie is that from? It's actually sick. But it's not. No, I didn't hear what he said.
I
think
barely hear you, Fabian.
The chat hears you, but we don't hear you. Yeah, Annihilation. That's it. Yeah. What a different movie that is. Aside from that, let's take a look at a couple other names here, guys, and see what we got going on. We'll take a look at the quantum space, Annihilation. If you guys haven't seen it, just go out and watch it. The majority of the movie's pretty garbage, if you ask me, but the last little bit is where that sound comes from, and that's where I like it from. So, is it? Oh, is it? Yeah, exactly. Because they go into that little space and then everything gets switched up. What's Bitcoin been up to here, guys? Still a strong rebound, but you can see that the volatility is in. We did break through the volume-weighted average price. Did we pull back and retest that? We're going to go to Adara in 1 second. Yeah, we did, it looks like. So let's see if we can get VWAP on our chart here. But we punched through, come back, retest, and then now we're starting to find somewhat of a rebound. I like this for a good look in the overall market as we're right back to our previous out. In the TQQs. All right, 1 second there. Member for 5 months. Hangry Wife, crazy market moves, great for volatility traders and scalpers. Thank you, Joe and Sharif, for the great energy always. No, thank you.
Always, thank you,
Hangry Wife, as always, much appreciated.
She's always hungry.
It's a guy.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. Adira.
Time to talk about FXI here. China, again, FXI actually trying to push a little bit higher. I mentioned earlier reports that U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent would be traveling to France this Sunday to Monday, March 15th to 16th, to meet with the Vice Premier of China. Looks like he's confirming this with comments from Treasury Secretary Bessent suggesting that, quote, we will continue U.S.-China trade and economic talks in Paris. So very likely to get some kind of commentary here with China next week as U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent travels to France to meet with the Vice Premier of China for more trade and economic discussions.
Sharif,
to you.
You're right, Joey.
Yeah.
You're right.
I figured. Sharif, what am I going to say?
I don't know.
And there
Oh, there it is. I have no idea what you're going to say, Joey.
I know. I had to put you on the spot like that. We got a nice little pop up there in the Nasdaq, guys, as it's starting to climb a little bit higher.
All right. Attaboy. All right. I'm trying to debate getting back into AGRZ here. It's holding structure on the 5. I don't know what forced me to look at the 1, but what happens when you look at the multi-time frame, but it's holding structure. And that's the thing. It's holding, it just made another high, 88.5. It breached prior bar high, has higher lows, has higher highs, extended away from the 10, 86 and change. Let's go ahead and do just that. So let's go into this. We're going to give it to prior bar low. Prior bar low is 82.81. So see if we can maneuver into this one with a move. We're going to risk less this time, though, okay? There we go. We're in. We're giving it to 82. So let's go ahead and do just that. What's current bar low? Yeah, we're going to give it to 80. All right, there we go. All right, just give me a sec here. So we're in at 87s. Good, so we'll put in some at day high. All right, while I'm trying to figure that out, we're going to go to a day.
I have a headline, and it actually is not geopolitical at all. It's going to be about the housing space. We do have SKY popping up here. This is Champion Homes. I did look into the company. What they do is basically modular and mobile home manufacturing. Now, with that in mind, Reuters reporting that the U.S. Senate has passed a bill to expand affordable housing. This bill has now been sent to the House of Representatives. So looks like potentially because it does these modular and mobile homes, SKY actually pushing higher. We'll take a look to see if any of these other home builders are moving on this. They are not. So it does look like more of a mobile or modular home play here. SKY, roughly 300,000 shares traded on the day. So not a ton of volume done on the day, but certainly need to keep an eye on with that catalyst, especially if we get further passing here of this bill to expand affordable housing. Now back to you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Adara. SPLX is triple leveraged on on the SPY. I tried putting this up, SPLX. I don't even think, I've never even heard of this. There's no companies or assets found matching this text entered, right? I can try it over here to see if there's anything. SPLX. I think that, okay, on the AMX, all right, 2x leverage, great question. To be honest with you, I've never heard of this thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have any form of access to it, so that would explain a lot. And also, Minnesota Trader curious, what is the volume like? What's the liquidity like on this thing? But you can see, I pulled it up on multiple platforms, and I have nothing along those lines of SPL. Oh, XL, there we go, that would make sense. XL. All right, let's see what the volume's like on this bad boy. Great question. I've never personally used this vehicle. We have only 2 million shares traded on this. I mean, I shouldn't say only, but you can see that you would run into a little liquidity issues here on this. Gap down, a lot of bar coding, but yeah, fantastic. It is still pretty expensive, but I mean, half the price there. Not too bad. SPXL, let's see, going on 2x leverage, and I think that I can't believe I trade this vehicle and I always get it mixed up. Yeah, so this is 2x, TQs is 3x, all right? That's what we got going on. So we took a little bit more off on the Nasdaq, guys. We'll pull that back up there, 2x compared to 3x, and then liquidity issues, but thanks for pointing that out. All right, I personally didn't even know about that vehicle. So there it is. You can see the volatility stepping in on the market, got in the market. We pull back, we punch right back through. May as well stick to it. Shout out to my boy Taylor Rabdi. He's saying stick with it, man. It's working, and that's what we're doing right now. So we pieced a little bit more off, currently sitting on 50%. I see a fist pump in my peripheral vision there. What do you got?
Well, it's killing it. All right, we're back into ARGZ. Into 89.71. So this is not breaking structure at all. It hasn't even breached prior bar low, and it hasn't done that for a while. 89.90. Looking for a squeeze now into the dollar. We're back in this one. I like what I'm seeing here, but we need that aggressive short squeeze into that dollar. So we're not exactly getting it, and this makes me feel like it's probably easy to borrow. Oh, wow, what a move up here into the 90s. Missed that. Got to be quicker. 91 penny high. Good look. Looking again for that bigger move into the dollar. Let's put everything now. I'm going to put it at about 95. Let's just post. I'm going to put 94.5. There we go. Oh, wow, it got to 94.3, and I missed it. Yeah, put those resting orders. 92 showing up, so the squeeze is on right now on ARGZ. Here we go. There's the 92 seller. He got killed. They killed him, Joey. Up into 92 and change. Here comes 93. Boom. Good. Good trade. Could have done a little bit better with that one if I had held it, but it's okay. We'll look to improve a little bit more. But in and out, in and out. I'd rather just hold the entire thing for the 2R. But this one is a little bit more thickly traded. In any event, ARGZ, good look here, up 120%, and it's still making a move, 94.30. It's on its way to the dollar. I've been focusing on this one for the majority of the time because this was the one that keeps making the breakouts. Above the 80 penny area where we had resistance, above the 87 penny area where we had multiple topping tail candles on the 5, and now on the way to a dollar. Shout out to ARGZ, and we're going to Adair.
Definitely more geopolitical headlines to be aware of here, guys. Keep an eye on USO. I'm seeing a comment from the top security official of Iran by the name of Larijani saying, in response to Trump, quote, "We will not relent until making you sorry for this grave miscalculation." So again, that is the message to President Trump of the U.S. from the top security official of Iran. Back to you.
There goes ARGZ. Joey, why? There we go. Into 97.59. Here comes the dollar. The shorts are squeezed now. They're running scared. We're making the move into the dollar. This is a great look here for ARGZ, up 130%. Watch out, though, for those who are trading it. You know, just watch out for the dollar area. You might want to wet your beak here on some stuff before it enters that dollar region. And then, you know, a lot of short sellers and or profit takers start getting in on this one. So, yeah, not a bad look here. ARGZ, what did I say? AG, oh, my bad. Thank you, Anurag. AGRZ, not ARGZ, AGRZ. Appreciate the clarification there. Good luck. All right, let's just send it to you because I got to see what Fabian wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on here. Sticking with this name. I mean, we've traded two names here on the day, ONDS, which, you know, I don't have a good relationship with right now in the TQQs, but seems to be currently working for us. I mean, the ebb and flow, we could be trading this range here. But one thing that I got to keep an eye out on, let's see what these larger participants are up to, but inverted hammer right at VWAP. Man, oh man, it's tough signals, man. It's a really, really choppy day. A lot of overlapping candles, and this is what I was talking about earlier in the session, just in the fact that, hey, I thought we would get somewhat of a rally with NVDA, but that wasn't the case. We're fortunate enough to catch the top end of the range once again, but if we broke through the volume-weighted average price and headed towards the high of the day, it would have been an absolute banger of a trade right there. So let's see what we got going on for the rest of the session there, guys. What's up, Taylor? Hope everything. I don't know. Are you still holding on to your long? It sounded like you were long, Taylor. The Nasdaq as well. Are you still holding on to that position, or did you cash out already, maybe around these highs or something along those lines? Adara, talk to us.
I have more headlines, Joe. This time not about the situation in the Middle East. It's about Netflix. Variety, which of course is like entertainment news reporting site and magazine, they have reported that Netflix has cut its global product team as part of its reorganization plans. Now, as you know, NFLX has said now that they're not going to be purchasing Warner Brothers, that they want to do some of their own restructuring and maybe even some M&A. We've heard reports they're going to be acquiring the business called Interpositive, which was founded by actor and director Ben Affleck for $600 million. So NFLX looks like they're continuing that reorganization plan, at this time reportedly cutting their global product team, according to Variety.
Ben Affleck and Gone Girl, The Town.
I don't know anything you're talking about.
Gone Girl is so underrated. Rosamund Pike, forever and ever.
Yeah, exactly. She's in a really good movie as well, too.
I Care a Lot?
No, it's called Hollow Road, or Hallow Road.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's the same. I think
I'll have to check that out. I really like it.
Yeah, so Hallow Road, really good. And then he's also in Ben Affleck's movie with Ana de Armas. I forget what the name of that one is. Yeah, it's
Deep Water or something? Dark Water? Yeah.
That's exactly it. Shout out to all the movie junkies out there. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on here. Taylor, you never said if you were still involved in this. The Town was a great, the Town's sick. My boy Jeremy Rayner and a couple other individuals there as well, too. So, yeah, guys, I mean, someone asked me if I'm going to reload here. I think it really depends on what we got going on here with USAR. I know we've been talking about it quite often, but it looks like it wants to find somewhat of a rebound here. And then we also have to take into consideration these participants. And what I'm seeing here, you get that move into the volume-weighted average price, and then you start to reject it a little bit. Same narrative, no selling pressure really that says, hey, let's take that short. One of the toughest names, in my opinion, to short in the market. I just never really have a good time doing that. Tesla, right back into VWAP, starting to pull in a little bit here. So if we get that turtle shell type price action and not break through VWAP with an increase in volume, then maybe you can see somewhat of a leg down, a partial leg down, but head towards the middle of this range or something along those lines, okay? We were looking at the 420 mark and the 400 mark from an open interest standpoint here on Tesla. It did sell around approximately 10 points here today, so we'll continue to monitor that. Speaking of, let's may as well go take a look at the options chain and see what we got going on. And I'm also curious to see if it will come into play. right? So, I mean, 420 definitely has the most amount of OI right there, guys. If we head over to this expiration cycle, probably going to be something around the same narrative, $410 right there, 37,000. So, I mean, we did run into that neck of the woods on the intraday cycle, and then we rejected that. 409 was approximately the high of the day, so keep that in mind. And we'll head back over to USO and see what this dog is doing right now. 172%. I think it was up to 173, so a slight downtick here in USO volatility, but this 120 mark is something that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on without any form of questioning.
All right, man, just watching AGRZ around the dollar area did spike up to 105, but as you know, predicted, it's going to have trouble with 105, so be on the lookout for, with 1, so be on the lookout for that, up 136%. I also like that 90 penny area. If it does come back down, 87.5 to about 90 pennies, that could be a really good area for the reload. You're really extended away from prior bar low, so it's not like I want to give you guys that as the out, but prior bar low is 85, 85.53, but here it is again, challenging for the dollar. Good look here for ARGZ, 105 high, as I mentioned. It really hasn't spent that much time above a buck, as you can see, dropping below the dollar now. To be expected, though. Good look here for ARGZ. I don't have anything else. Perfect. I can hear you really well, Fabian. Say it again.
This is now on stream. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
Yeah,
All right.
I hear you actually
Welcome,
perfect.
I don't
Amazing.
hear anything.
You don't hear it? I can show you how to turn it on.
I don't know if he was talking to me. I heard him for a bit. He said one thing, and then he went out, I think maybe just to you.
Pull up your Unity.
Pull it up, eh?
Click that one right there.
This
Yep,
one?
that's the one. All right.
All right.
That's the one, right? Yeah, perfect.
Okay, but Assassino, can you say something in my ear, please, and thank you?
Test Assassino.
Test.
There it is. Yeah, that's actually perfect, Fabian. Thanks for helping out with that. I really appreciate it. So we'll be able to hear Adira when she talks. When Fabian talks from his desk, we'll be able to hear that Assassino. Of course, the Assassino was put on super loud. So that's why
you got things.
We couldn't hear them. We could hear him, but not them. In any event, we're good now. MF Danger says he can hear it. Awesome sauce. Good. Mike the PD Rider as well. Slow Motion Joe 263 can hear it as well. Guys, we're continuing to watch AGRZ here, losing the dollar. Now, if it loses prior bar low, which is a doji candle, this could be trouble. Prior bar low is 97.51. We're at 98.99 right now, 98.5, 99. If it loses prior bar low, this could be trouble, and we could be headed back to 90 pennies. We are doing it live, ANPC. Of course, good comms, says Fedora the Explorer. I like that. I hear God, says Danny Nunez. There you go. Sit and Spin hears you too. Loud and clear, says the chat. So good job by the production team. We're still missing one person, though, from the production team.
I thought you were going to say we're missing.
We miss her.
I thought we were going to say we're missing Wendy's Tendies. I haven't seen him today. Maybe hopefully he's feeling a little better.
Yeah? Well, according to him, he was having a great day. So shout out to Wendy's Tendies.
Oh, really? I would have thought the opposite. But I guess don't assume because
there you go. You know, when you assume, it leads to assumptions.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
Makes a bum out of you and me.
Does that? Is that the expression?
I think so.
Okay. If you say it, I believe it.
I appreciate that.
I always joke around, though, about that whole leading to assumptions thing. All right, guys, it's holding prior bar low right now. AGRZ, again, prior bar low around 97.5. Back over when it goes. If this breaches prior bar high and takes out 105, we could be in a squeeze right now to the high side. But the shorts are fighting. The longs are fighting. We're basically in equilibrium right now between longs and shorts at that dollar area. Nothing that I'm surprised about at all. Let's see how this resolves. I want to mention one other one that I'm keeping my eye on, LWLG, a much slower mover than AGRZ, but nonetheless, it is putting a decent pattern here. I want to say it's trading as an upward channel of sorts. So if you want, you could trade it like that, get in towards the low end of the channel, and then, you know, out at the higher end, saving a piece for the dream, of course. But I'm not going to execute on that one at the moment. I'm just going to steer clear of any trades because I don't like anything right now, and I don't want to give anything back if I don't have to. So AGRZ, the only one I'm really focusing on, then LWLG, if I like that one, I'll announce it to you guys. We'll get involved. Also, let's not forget EONR. It isn't the best look, especially after that big drop on oil, which is essentially this whole thing right here was that big drop. It defended VWAP generally. I mean, it wicked below it on a couple of times, but was able to reclaim it pretty quickly. But I'm not really enthused about the trend either. Kind of an anemic bounce off that volume weighted average price, but positive nonetheless. Woof. This one was a possible good one off the volume weighted average price. It didn't end up really doing anything. It's holding VWAP, but that's not an invitation to get in. It feels like maybe this is just making lower lows for an eventual break below the volume weighted average price. Keep your eye out on that. And here we go on AGRZ. Let's see, we've lost prior bar low now. Okay, so prior bar low, 97.51. Current bar low, 97.24, so not much of a drop, but there you go, squeezing down the shorts and right back above the dollar we go. So all over the map here on AGRZ. Get it, Joe. Get it, Obi. Obi's freaking out over there, bro. I'm assuming oil's dropping again.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're killing me. I love it. Yeah, there's the loss of VWAP. Obi was holding for that. Shout out to Obi. Good trade, brother. And we hope you print up multiple storms. That probably meant that EONR dropped, and it did. It absolutely did, right back into VWAP. So good trade, guys. Whoever's trading oil to the short side, good on you. We're gonna keep.
Oh yeah, what a tank there! It's AC Slater to that one.
You don't even need to look at the chart.
Yeah,
just
man,
listen for Obi.
Let's go. Yeah. No, yeah. Shout out to Mike Peter Ryder as well, too, getting that double cheese from Wendy's here. I mean,
see your friend Ondis?
No, I don't want to see my friend on this. We're not.
It's on a move right now.
It's on a move. I mean, there it is. We're also on a move right now on the TQQQ Sharif, as it's looking like it wants to climb higher. How come we didn't get that volatility spike, man? I would have liked that strong move to the top end, run into 48. We could take a little bit more off, and. You know what's funny? Before we go over to Adair, before the last volatility spike, I was going to say how long, over, under, roughly, before we get an additional headline with news and we get another volatility
based on
spike.
like what's happened lately?
So do you want to do it on this one? Approximately how long from now do you think it is until we get another volatility spike in oil?
I'm plus or minus?
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Half an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. There we go.
Let's go that.
Adara.
I do have some news here that could potentially impact oil, so keep an eye on USO and any of these other oil plays. Seeing reports from Mayor that the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson saying that many ships can still pass the Strait of Hormuz. Now, we already heard that. However, here's another detail, because we know when we heard this headline before, we weren't sure which ships would be allowed or what, I guess, the determining factors would be. Now, it looks like, according to said Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, ships can potentially still pass through the Strait of Hormuz as long as they are coordinating with the Iranian Navy. So if you have that coordination, you might be able to get your ship through the Strait of Hormuz, once again denying that the Strait of Hormuz is totally closed to all ships. Back to you.
I thought they didn't have a Navy, bro.
No,
Where's the Navy gone there? Okay, you got to coordinate with this non-existent Navy. Shout out. CNEY. Shout out to Jag Guzman. Not bad. Let's look at it at the multi-time frame. Let's see what this one has to offer us small cap folk. Let's see what we got here. CNEY. Oop, that's CNET. Pardon me. Not bad. A little lightly traded. Looks like it's trying to hold up above the buck. In fact, it looks like 107, 107, 108, an area support with about a $1.20 resistance. Not my favorite, to be quite honest with you, but a big breakout nonetheless. The breakout came quite later in the day, 12:38. Okay. Not a bad look there. I don't know, brother. This is a little sparsely traded. I probably wouldn't go after this. I think there are others that you can keep your eye out, like LWLG. LWLG is breaking out as we speak. Here we go. And there it is, into 721. It's headed to the higher end of the channel. AGRZ also making a move. So I would not really focus on that too much. Also, I want to mention, I know Joey doesn't like this one, but ONDS is making a move.
Breakout?
Yeah,
Shout out
1060.
to it,
It broke through the double top there at around 1040. It's got a lot of support, guys, at around 1040. So if this makes another move back there, I'd probably be a buyer at 1040, and I'd probably give it to around 1030 because it's got a propensity to kind of be quite rangy. So ONDS is also making another move back up. It's only up 7% though, and a respectable price.
I guess it's $10.
Yeah. I mean, to me, right, like when we're looking at these ones that are up 133, so I don't mean only, but yeah, it's not up huge on the day, but not a bad look at all. Shout out to Jaguar Nut there. One of my favorite cars. I saw that you put Aston Martin in the upgrades and downgrades today.
It was on the downgrade side.
It was on the downgrade
same
side.
with Honda today too.
That's a heartbreaker.
You like Ashton though, don't you?
It's probably one of my favorite cars. Yeah,
I like it
this
too.
old dude in my building has the sick. Let me show you. I'll exactly
pull
show
it up
you.
over there. We'll talk a little Nasdaq while you pull up the old Ashton.
Okay.
I like the
Look
one
it
in
up.
the one James Bond movie. It just looks like a bullet, man. That thing is wicked, and you know how America and myself love the shape.
I think it's a
of
Vanquish.
projectiles.
Yeah, not the Vanquish F1.
Oh,
I
that thing
think.
looks nasty. All right, yeah, there it is. Nice flush down. Obi caught that break of the support level, curl over. I'm curious, did you reload that there, Obi, or are you just stuck with your size? Bang. Bang. All right, so there you go. There he is. He's going to take a little bit of a breather. He hit that face slapper, so nice move. You can see that we're slowly starting to climb. I thought we would have broke a little bit higher there in the Nasdaq, but the USO is starting to find somewhat of a bottom here potentially. So that's what he's got there?
Yeah, he has this exact version. This is the Vanquish F1.
Yeah.
It's a special version, and he has this exact same one right here, except it's black and then with
Is it
lime
soft
green
top
on the
or
inside.
hard?
Yeah, it's gonna be soft top always,
it?
but I mean, I've had 2 soft top convertibles,
Yeah.
and they're very, very noise free because
they?
the insulation material is fantastic, especially on these cars. Look at all the Alcantara that they've got. It's such a badass car, and he's an older fellow. He's got a bit of a walker, so he puts his walker right beside the car. But
No
it
need
is
to walk with the Ashton, baby.
yeah. Well, you know, it's not going to take him up to his apartment,
No.
but it's such a badass
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
And I like his better because he's got the lime green caliper and
sick.
the lime green inserts. Like this one's
Okay.
got red. I'm not a big fan of the red one.
I like the blue caliper as well too when you throw that.
I don't even know if they offer that, to be quite honest with you. I'm
With
just like,
that- with the
yeah,
Ashton?
with this
Oh,
one
okay,
in
yeah,
specific,
yeah,
because this is all factory,
I mean,
right?
hey man, if you got that type of money, you can probably get whatever you want.
Well, he had another Aston Martin before it, but it was like a decade old. And he had a couple of cars, so I think he consolidated. He had a Z4 convertible and the Aston.
Oh, the BM Z4?
He had a convertible, so he sold that bad boy and then kind of got this. He lives with a woman like half his age.
Bang.
Yeah, and she's rolling around in a range
What'd
as
she
well.
drive? She got a range with
She got a range.
the Velar?
No, she's got the Defender.
I
know you're about that life.
I'm really falling in love with
I
the
know.
Defender, man. I love the Defender.
They're a really nice.
They're
car.
really nice.
Yeah.
They're really nice.
Very, very nice cars.
Shout
A
out
very
to,
wide, high center of gravity, though.
Yeah,
I don't know
pull
how to
up
feel
the
about
Defender
that.
there for the folks.
Yeah.
See
Oh,
what we've
everyone
got
knows the
going on.
Defender,
Yeah,
man.
we know the Defender.
There we go.
Really good.
Defender. Let's go. There it is.
There it
There's
is.
your
Look at
boy
that
right
white
there.
one there.
Which one? This one here?
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
right
that
there.
one
I
right
know
there.
you
How
like
much
that
gonna
one.
run us?
What's that? The P what?
Clutch.
This is the P.
How many clicks is that going to run
The
us?
P400, so this got 400 horsepower. So this is probably a supercharged V6.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
going to run you 74.5 here,
Yeah,
Joe.
all right.
Yeah, Clutch.ca is a Canadian car, too. Yeah, this is a badass car, man.
nice car.
I could get behind that. I'm not a big fan of the center of gravity. This actually shares, I think, a platform with my F-Pace.
Okay.
It's the same platform. It's the same platform as the Velar. It's the same platform.
Velar is nice.
JLR, doing it live.
Real life.
LWLG, I see it, Emiliam. It's moving, man, into 7.25. It could get into that 730, I think. Oh, baby, but AGRZ is all the rave right now. And there it goes above $1, taking out prior bar high. I see you, Dewey 001. Shout out to my man. I see you, Black Sheep Trades. You're all over that as well. Good on you guys. This has been a hell of a name. And the nice thing about this one, it's a singular name today that's making a move during the midday, right? So it's not like you're dividing your attention between a bunch of different ones. There's really only one major small cap gapper. And guys, when I got eyes on this, it was trading at around, I want to say 60, 70 pennies, right? We started watching this, I want to say around 10:30 or so. And so it's significantly above those levels. It's got a lot of gas here. I think most of the shorts are squeezed. Most of the shorts were trying to defend that 85 area, and then they tried to defend one, and they're getting decimated now. Into the 109 it goes, 155%. Keep your eye out on this one. Good look here. You know, now that we're into this 109 range, got a bias that moves into $0.25. If it clears $0.25, you should be looking for the half. And I'm talking about areas. It doesn't have to hit 150 and 125 on the dot, but That is the move right now. Hangry wife, owning a car like that, being best friends with a good mechanic is the only way to go. You know what? I always say, if you're going to buy an English car, you make sure it's under warranty or you get CPO. Randy knows, bro. You get certified pre-owned warranty on that bad boy because you do not want to be dealing with a car that expensive that is off warranty.
Dude,
and you know the replacement parts are ridiculous.
It's offering a truck for like 10-year warranty or like $250,000.
Dodge Ram?
Yeah, yeah.
Kidding?
Yeah, or
Not
like
bad.
I think it was like 180,000 clicks or something like that.
Is it bumper to bumper? Because sometimes it's just drivetrain.
Right, it might be drivetrain.
Right, yeah. All right, we'll talk more about cars when we get back from Adair.
Keep an eye here, guys, on some of these nuclear and uranium plays. I'll start with uranium because some of these are moving here. Is CCJ, that's Cameco, to the upside. Quadruple U is also on the move here. So keep an eye on these names. What happened here is the Department of Energy announced a new initiative aiming to increase nuclear power output. Now, again, this is actually moving some of these uranium names. If you look at some of these nuclear names, this is SMR, or New Scale Power. Not too much of a move here. NNE not doing too much as well. So it does look like this announcement is mostly moving the names in that uranium space again as the U.S. Department of Energy announces that their Office of Nuclear Energy is underway with a new initiative to use existing nuclear energy infrastructure to put more power onto the grid. Back to you.
The IPO is open, PAYP on the NQ. It's up 12.8%. That's from the IPO price, but it's down. I believe it did open up at like 19 something. It looks like $19, maybe 19.02. PAYP, IPO. We did report on this one in the morning on the midday show. Keep your eye on this one. It opened up at $19 a share. The IPO price was $16 a share, but that was at the lower end of the range because the company was looking for 17 to 20. So that typically is not good. I do apologize, guys. I wasn't monitoring the imbalances on this one, but it does look like it's bleeding its own blood here. Down into $18 it goes. PAYP on the NQ, a new IPO today. Keep your eye on that. But also, if you're small cap capper inclined, LWLG into the high end of the range, showing 733 now, 739 high. Also, AGRZ into 112, where the players frickin' dwell, coming back down now into 109. Prior bar low south of $1 at 98 pennies. Current bar low is 107. We're showing 108s. Trade it carefully, guys. Good look right now on all these names as they're making breakouts as we speak. AGRZ, LWLG, ONDS as well making a move. Dathong. Car is a bad investment. Couldn't agree more, brother.
I think
Couldn't
everybody
agree more.
knows that, man.
Yeah, but I have a new philosophy. If you're gonna get an expensive car, then
You better have a whole lot of money.
well, yes, but that's not what I mean. I mean, if you're gonna get an expensive car, don't buy it or finance it, lease it. And then if you're going to buy a car, wait till the depreciation curve flattens out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the sweet spot where you want to pick
Isn't buying
it up.
a new car the worst investment you can make?
I would say
Unless you
so.
Or the
So-
worst purchase?
Babe, can they hear you,
Yep,
Fabian?
correct.
Okay, yeah, I would absolutely agree, especially if you're going to buy or finance it. I would say make sure just to get rid of that bad boy. I know a lot of people don't like being left without equity at the end of a lease. I'm fine with that. If you want to buy a car, Randy and I talk about all this all the time. I think, Randy, what is it, the first 3 or 4 years or the steepest depreciation? 3 or 4 years, first
I
year?
thought it was like the...
Yeah.
Say it again, Fabian, you cut out. No, see, I can't hear him now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Hello? Testing?
yeah, now we can hear you,
now
yeah.
I can hear.
I thought it was like the moment you drive it off the lot is when you lose like half the value of the car immediately.
Well, that's an exaggeration. I don't think
okay.
you lose
All
half
right.
the value right away, but you do lose quite a bit.
You lose some value out of it. I mean, I've always been a used vehicle guy.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Right?
If I
Just
get
buy it
new.
outright, no payments, anything. So
But
that's
you
how
know, like you got to get it on the bottom of the curve, right? You want the depreciation curve to flatten out a little bit, right?
yeah.
But if I'm gonna get a car, and it won't be for a few years, I'm definitely either gonna lease if it's gonna be
Couple of my buddies are
expensive,
going
or I'll get
the lease rate.
Yeah. And no, and they have crazy incentives right now. Seeing a lot of higher end cars, 2-3%, which is like 4 or 5% below market. No, 3-4% below market. Like if you go to a used car dealership right now, you can get 6.5, really depending on your credit. I've seen people get 6, 5.99, something like that, which is not that bad, right? All right.
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about something. Buy Toyotas, they last forever. Yeah, the Tundra I think would be a pretty solid truck to obviously get. But aside from that, guys, here it is, IBIT running right into a resistance zone at that $40 mark. It's been pretty strong here today. And then as for the Nasdaq, we've been trading within this range for quite some time. We're up, we're down, and we're completely around here at this point, 47.30 and a high of around 47.80. But we are heading back towards the lower end of the range, currently speaking. NVDA is tanking, and sure enough, it's going to drag the market with it. But one thing that, and I mentioned this earlier and on multiple occasions, why weren't we participating, the Nasdaq that is, in this strong up move? But then we have that turtle shell price action that I was referring to in Apple starting to form. And then we also have the Nasdaq as well too. So we couldn't break, we couldn't hold, we broke, but we couldn't hold the volume weighted average price, and buyers step in control. As you can see, sellers are most definitely starting to take advantage of that right now. So we're going to hold on to this position. I still have 50% remaining, considering we're sitting in the ebb and flow of the market. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a breakout, but Bitcoin's stronger. NVDA was strong, but coming back into VWAP. And without me even having to look, USO is probably starting to climb once again, heading right back into the volume weighted average.
I'm going to read
price.
some of these comments, guys. Yeah, I love that. I buy, Damien Tarsa says, I buy new cars, but then keep them for 10 to 15 years. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure. Randy does the same thing. We kind of know that. Just got to watch out for these lease payments against the depreciation, says Peter. Peter and the Corsos. Save Man Woman, you lose 10% in registration and taxes, about 2.5% in drive off after cooling off. Gorilla says, I've seen 2.99 in new in the US. Yes, agree. We have lease rates like that. I've actually seen 2.5, believe it or not, for some Benzes, in fact, believe it or not. Hertz Scrambler, Carvana would give me more than I paid for 2 years later. You definitely probably bought it before COVID and then sold it into the COVID bump. Per Scrambler, let me know if that's the case. James Dell, keep it in the garage too. Car sits at home for the majority of its life. Yeah, I would know plenty about that. Like take the subway here every day and my car was sitting at home. I buy used cars, says Bustin. I buy used cars at about 3 to 4 years old, get them at 25% off their new cost, but still have about 75% of their life left. You gotta love that type of thinking. That's exactly it right there. I love hearing that. What else we got here? Mr. Easy Street, buy new, don't sell it, keep 10 plus years, meets the used car curve. Couldn't agree more. Mr. Law, buy Toyotas. Joey, they last forever, so don't get dents on the outside. I had a Lexus, an NX, for a while. I didn't really like it. I felt it was more of a girly car.
Lexus?
Yeah, the NX is too small, right? Like the RX for that. So, but I got to tell you, it was one hell of a reliable car.
What's the what's the kind of the sedan, the IS?
The IS is a sedan.
I like the S250 or whatever.
Yeah,
I like that.
Sedan. I'm not a sedan guy though. I got to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
more
over
of a
the
SUV,
kind of
right?
sports car thing.
No, I had SUVs. I've had
I mean,
SUVs.
like the sports car. I mean,
yeah, but it would have
like
to be a
that,
sports
right?
SUV. But like I'm about that life.
Yeah, for sure. Tree's gonna get the not the what's the Urus.
Oh yeah, that's a dream. That's a dream, bro.
I mean, you dream big,
The
man.
house first, my boy. Jam Lucky, I own Mr. Bean car and have bumper to bumper warranty. Shout out to my man Jam Lucky. Pretty Panda, I'm more of a Hilux kind of guy. A real man. What? A real man, some would say. I love it, Pretty Panda. Shout out to my man. Sharif, the old Lexus GX was great. Could not agree more. And Randy, are you still around? What is the Lexus version? I couldn't see you up there. Of the real, the Toyota that they love in the Middle East. What is it called again? Say again? Yeah, but what is it called? The Toyota version? No, the one that they drive in the desert all the time. The Land Cruiser. So what's the Lexus version of that here? Because I heard the Land Cruiser here is not the real Land Cruiser they have all over the world. It's the GX or LX, right? Yeah, you got it's the GX. Some people are saying the LX, some people are saying the GX. Most people are, oh, you guys are split down the middle, LX, GX. All right, but that's a nice one as well, and it's pretty big. And I'm about that life. I like those big SUVs, Joey.
You like the big SUVs?
I like the big SUVs, man. I just like them. I like the R1S. I love the R1S. Too expensive, but my life right there. All right, guys, LG is absolutely moving. It just took out the high of the day. It's breaking above the channel now, and we're above the aftermarket high yesterday. Not by much, but we have. Everybody's saying GX here. Royal, you're killing me, bro. Oh my God, I don't know why I'm unblocking these comments, but that's fine. Do you have anything to comment on, Joey, before we start the news?
No, sir.
No, nothing? All right, so let's start right now. Let's see what we got over here. Let's bring in the news. Where'd I put it? Sorry, guys, allow me a second. Just got to load up the other one that I've highlighted here. Copy, there we go. All right, let's start the news, guys. See what we got today. Let's talk a little Optimus. Okay, so Tesla was up on the day.
He is here, right, my boy?
Oh, crap. Totally forgot Sia was here. Sia, my bad. Go ahead. Okay, Assassino needs to get that ready. I do apologize, Sia. My bad. We're gonna start the news. Yeah, no problem. So we're just adjusting her camera, and Sia's gonna be on in 1 second. Get you an old excursion, Elcon Radical. I don't know, man. I like the excursions. Those remind me back of the high school days. My buddy actually used to have one, and we all like pack in and then go to the club. There'd be like 20 dudes in one car. Oh boy, times 20 comfortable. Randy says. All right, we ready to go, Assassino? Beautiful. See ya. Let's take it off.
Let's take it off. So Tesla has recently unveiled the teaser for its Optimus Gen 3 robot in Shanghai during the 2026 Appliance and Electronics World Expo. And Tesla CEO Elon Musk has said that this could be the most advanced robot ever built. Initial production will begin in summer of 2026, continued by high volume production, which is targeted by for 2027. And Elon Musk has also hinted at releasing the robots publicly after production ramps up. And he has also repeatedly emphasized the economic power and potential of humanoid robots could surpass the production and impact that Tesla's vehicles have on the economy.
All right. Here, Assassino, can we show this? So this is the video with Mark Benioff. You guys can't hear what Mark Benioff is saying, but you can see the captions up there. Benioff is just asking Optimus like very, very simple questions like, hey, Optimus, do you know where I can get a Coke? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I don't, he says. And then like basically he's gonna take him to the kitchen to be able to get a Coke there, and it takes forever to move. And apparently they were standing too close to him, so he wouldn't move. They had to actually back away from him so that it was safe to do so. I'm not let's go, he's telling him. He's like taking forever to move. So, you know, my initial observations of Optimus version 3 is not that great, but when you read the article a little bit more, you see that there are many different versions of this Optimus Gen 3, funny enough. And then they teased one at the in Shanghai, at the 2020 at the Appliance and Electronics World Expo, and apparently that was a much different version than the one that we saw in the Benioff video. So if that's the case, fantastic. But I was not impressed with what I saw from that one, and it also couldn't access the internet. It was slow to respond. It wasn't it wasn't really functioning in a real world scenario. Like, people are going to stand close by you. You should be able to maneuver if humans are standing close by you. So a lot of stuff that I didn't like. But I think it only gets better from here. What I do like, though, Joey, is that they seem to be all in on this. We know they shifted production at the Fairmont facility away from the Model S and X, which are now technically discontinued, and they're freeing up capacity for Optimus. You got to like that in terms of commitment from the company.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive gamble, but I've said this on multiple occasions. I think at some point he's going to kind of kick all that to the curb and just really focus on robotaxi and the robotic side of things. But Sharif, you and I mentioned this on multiple occasions as well, too. What we see in China, what they can do from a physical standpoint is substantially better than what Optimus. I mean, unless they're AI videos, you can see these things doing flips, fighting in MMA styles and learning combat styles. But Shreve, and I agree with this here as well too. The brain is what really matters. Also, he's releasing digital Optimus, which I think is going to be somewhat interesting. But I think it's a gamble. You're going to need a high quality product, and if you're going to sell this to the average consumer, it's great to get that early stage robot, but you also don't want this thing sitting in your room collecting dust at the end of the day. It needs to have a meaningful purpose.
100% agree. And I think one of the best ways they can demonstrate is to put it at the Tesla stores in the malls.
Yeah.
So I think people would really get a kick of interacting with this thing, especially if it, responds well, it doesn't lag.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you can get this thing to do the most basic tasks, right? Like, I don't know what you're gonna do, like put it in a showroom or something, get it loading some launch. I don't know if this is too advanced thinking or anything along those lines, but other than that, what would you want it for other than doing some like basic tasks, like maybe like doing laundry, making the bed?
I think that's exactly what they're training it on, brother.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, let's see this actually in action before people, and if it works good, then I think you will pique the consumers' interest.
You know what I do like about this though, is like you mentioned something important about the brain. If they can get the mechanics so that it could have a lot of dexterity from the get-go, and then the brain can get updated all the time through software releases. So as long as it's got the dexterity, it's able to do all these things.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just a matter of time.
I think that just
software.
the sensitivity and like obviously it being, like you said, the dexterity and it be able to be nimble and move and not so stiff in its movement. I think that's really, really important for the next.
I couldn't agree more. What do we got next, Sia?
Yeah, we're talking about Google. Google has recently announced that its G-Fiber unit will be merging with Astown Broadband. Astown Broadband is an American telecommunications holdings company, and Google will be retaining a majority stake in the newly created entity. However, the minority stake, I'm sorry about that, but the majority stake will be shifting to Stonepeak, which is an investment firm. This combined broadband business will be led by existing G-Fiber executive team, and the aim here is to scale fiber broadband infrastructure across the United States. And G-Fiber is currently categorized within Alphabet's other bets segment, and other assets that are also included in this segment are Waymo's autonomous driving platform and Isomorphic Labs, which basically focuses on AI-driven drug discovery.
I care far less about this specific story, and I care far more about the fact that Google is laying like hundreds of thousands of kilometers worth of fiber optics under the sea floor. They're doing it so that they can basically offer redundancy for their Google Cloud for European customers. If European data centers to go down, they can funnel it to North America vis-a-vis their own, not proprietary, but owned cables. They own them. Obviously, it creates latency issues, but that's better than nothing. So I was actually watching a very, very interesting video. I think it was by Bloomberg, and they were talking about all these hyperscalers basically laying down their own fiber optic cables all over the oceans, and they're like Meta's one of the biggest ones as well, and they're connecting multiple continents all in one, and they kind of like funnel through. So that's really more the angle that I like, the fiber optics kind of side of Google's other bet segment. I care far less about terrestrial broadband. I think that's probably going to be the internet of the past with satellites coming in now. That's my look.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the direction most internet has, again, I mean, over here for the past number of years, I mean, almost a decade now, it's just that transition into fiber. You're eliminating the copper. You can't do it all the way. But as for the other bets, it just shows you how powerful this name Google is. If you're going to classify Waymo as your other bet, when it's already, I think, in my opinion, leading the way with this autonomous sector, considering, right, it has a lot of autonomous hours in different states and major cities coming to the city of Toronto as well, too. So if they're classifying this as an other bet, I really like it. And that just shows the strength of this name. Money just can get you in so many different sectors. True. And it's the same thing with Tesla. We don't really talk about it that often, but Elon holds a lot of power. Look what this guy has. He has the Boring Company. He has what's the up there?
Starlink.
SpaceX, right? SpaceX as well too. So it's like, hey man, these major capitalization names just have the ability to really dominate multiple spaces.
Yeah, and like they overlap a little bit.
Overlapping, exactly.
All right, see ya.
Amazon is clashing with SpaceX over certain satellite expansion plans. As we know it, Amazon has recently urged the Federal Communications Commission to reject a SpaceX proposal that could launch up to 1 million low Earth orbit satellites. And Amazon has described this plan as a lofty ambition rather than a real plan, arguing that SpaceX has not provided enough technical detail about how such a massive constellation would operate and would be implemented. However, the dispute has brought to our attention the intensifying competition between Amazon's Project Kuiper satellite network and SpaceX's Starlink, which is currently, as we know it, dominating the space-based internet market. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, has criticized Amazon's opposition and has said that the company should be focusing on its own satellite deployment milestones rather than filing objections against competitors. But the chairman has also noted that Amazon may fall roughly 1,000 satellites short of its upcoming deployment target. When the context of this is that Amazon has committed over $10 billion to its Project Kuiper satellite internet initiative, and SpaceX's Starlink network currently has around 9,000 satellites in its orbit and serves approximately 9 million customers worldwide. And the FCC has also authorized SpaceX's to deploy another 7,500 satellites.
I don't know what Amazon's problem is. Maybe they should get their own ducks in a row before they start looking at SpaceX and Starlink and criticizing their idea to put data centers in space. What's their concern here? Is it space debris? Are they worried that their Kuiper satellites are going to get hit by one of these data center satellites or a Starlink satellite? I don't understand what the objection is. Why are they filing, as sort of an intermediary between the FCC and Starlink? So that's kind of my issue with that. And then the other part is they're behind on the milestone, but their launch cadence is not where it should be. And these FCC licenses are given to them under the condition that they meet the launch cadence, that they meet the amount of satellites that they're going to put in space under their Kuiper program. I don't understand their opposition here. They didn't really articulate it in the article. Maybe you guys can, in the chat, enlighten me as to why they're so opposed to this. I don't really see any other reason other than possible space debris, which is actually becoming a bit of a problem, let's be honest, right? Especially in the low Earth orbit area. But I like everything Elon is doing. He's got the vehicle to get the satellites into space. He's got the ideas. I mean, people would have laughed at us, I think, 10 years ago if we said we would put low latency internet, broadband internet into space, but that's exactly what he did. And I used it on an airplane. It's fantastic. It is nothing like the old internet on an airplane, or old airplane internet, whatever. What do you think about this?
I think the reason why they're opposed to this is because Tesla might beat them to the race. So it's like,
exactly.
hey, yeah, so it's like, hey, I don't, if I can't have it just yet, I don't want you to have it either. But yeah, I mean, falling 1,000 satellites short from meeting their obligations, and SpaceX Starlink via its LEO satellite service, previously branded as not very good, I guess, apparently. But at the end of the day, Sharif, it's just another example. And I was just reading that Amazon is also investing $750 million in an Australian robotics company. So if we talk about these hyperscalers and these mega cap names, just continuously getting their hands in essentially every basket.
I don't mind that. And that's nice, because then, competition spurs, obviously, innovation. I mean, I don't have any problem with anybody competing with Tesla with Optimus, given what I just said about Optimus. What I've seen isn't that great. I have no idea why they're pushing back against this, unless there's going to be some sort of disruption to their network. Mind your own dang business.
Yeah, we're just going to hop on to Adara. I'm pretty sure she has a comment about this.
Thank you. I actually do. I have some things to say. So I found the post. Brendan Carr is a very... He likes to get up in what he believes on X. He likes to post. And so here's the actual post that he said. It was mentioned in that note. But yeah, quote, Amazon should focus on the fact that it will fall roughly 1,000 satellites short of meeting its upcoming deployment milestone rather than spending their time and resources filing petitions against companies that are putting thousands of satellites in orbit. Now, the reason I raised my voice and emphasized the last part of that sentence is because this part is where things get kind of interesting. Because I'm going to scroll to the top comment on this X post, people pointing out that SpaceX has actually also complained to the FCC just 2 months ago because they're upset at AST Space Mobile. So people are pointing out the hypocrisy of Brendan Carr being upset about Amazon filing a petition when SpaceX has very much filed their own. So I think that's kind of an interesting look. Now, it is worth noting the account that posted this initially, which Brendan Carr quote tweeted, Sawyer Merritt is very much, I would say, pro-Tesla. I mean, he's obviously posted about a lot of other companies, but he is a Tesla bull, and I think that is worth noting here as well, just for context on all of this. And it is interesting as well that Brendan Carr would be backing SpaceX here when we know that SpaceX is also, has the Elon Musk association. Elon Musk formerly associated with the administration. Now I'm going down a conspiracy theory, Charlie Day meme rabbit hole, so I'll stop there. But one thing I think that is going to be significant for Amazon here is you don't really want to make Brendan Carr mad. Because Brendan Carr is someone who has proven himself to have the ear of Donald Trump and vice versa. Brendan Carr did play a role in the ABC, Disney, Jimmy Kimmel situation in September, which I'm not going to get into any further, but if you know, you know. And that whole thing started and snowballed because of a comment that Brendan Carr made on a podcast. So just be aware, this man is certainly, I think, with regards to if Amazon wants to stay in President Trump's good books, this is not necessarily a man that you want to upset.
So the SpaceX complaint about AST Mobile was about the following: collision risk, debris and disposal, and tumbling satellites. They were trying to make the case that they plan to contain these kind of critical gaps. So it's kind of what I anticipated, that there was going to be space collision because of space debris, which is fine. But they also accused them of misinformation and regulatory tactics. They actually accused them of misleading investors through a misinformation campaign, and they're trying to say that they were trying to block their own progress. For example, they said SpaceX claims that AST spreading misinformation to prevent SpaceX from obtaining a crucial FCC waiver for out-of-band emission limits, which is necessary for SpaceX direct-to-cell service with T-Mobile, which is actually quite interesting because we know that that's the next leg for these low Earth orbit satellites. We talked about how Apple is doing it through Globestar. We talked about how AST Space Mobile is trying to actually give you direct satellite to cell phone service without any modifications to the cell phone, basically on the 5G network. So that does make sense to me that they would make that complaint. It would make more sense to me if I had context of why Amazon was complaining. Do you have any comments?
No.
Okay, see you.
Yeah, let's move on to this. I'm very excited about this story myself. Microsoft is preparing for the next-gen Xbox console with an AMD chip, and it has revealed to send plans to send prototype versions of its next-generation Xbox console to game developers in the year 2027. And the upcoming console, which is called Project Helix, will be aiming to significantly improve performance, but also maintain compatibility with Xbox and PC games. The next-generation Xbox will be featuring a custom processor from AMD, and Microsoft has said that the new hardware will be delivering an order of magnitude leap in ray tracing capabilities. The announcement also comes after the longtime Xbox chief Phil Spencer announced his retirement, and Asha Sharma, who will be leading Microsoft's gaming division, has indicated that the company intends to renew its commitment to console gaming. And right here, I have a statement from Jason Ronald, the Vice President of Next Generation Xbox. This is his comments speaking at the Xbox Developer Summit, giving the keynote address. He said that Xbox has an incredible lineup of game releases this year, from the return of iconic first-party franchises like Halo and Gears of War to major titles from our partners across the globe, alongside bold creativity.
So I like this. But it also makes sense with their recent appointment of Asha Sharma, right? She comes from an AI background. Then you hear about the next-gen processor that's being put in by AMD, and it's going to have AI capabilities. The next chip will also integrate AI-driven intelligence directly into graphics and the compute pipeline, which is apparently going to improve efficiency, scale, and visual realism. Fine. So what does that tell us? They hire somebody at the helm of Xbox with AI background. They're including the next-gen chip in Xbox that's going to be an AI-based chip. So there stands to reason that there's going to be AI or, AI nuances in the next gen of gaming. Now, when they hired this Asha Sharma woman, a lot of people were upset. They're like, oh, she lacks industry gaming experiences. And then there was concerns by gamers over AI slop. They didn't want AI slop to be kind of included in their games. They wanted it to be kind of already set. And then there was, the departure of veteran leadership, like this Sarah Bond woman apparently was, pretty good. And then there's also focus on profit and efficiency. So it looks like maybe they're kind of trying to put that ahead of the actual experience. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm not a gamer. It's just only from what I read.
Yeah, that was my really big question, is how are we going to start implementing all this AI boom into console gaming? Because in my opinion, some of the gameplay has gotten better.
RPG.
Yeah. What does that stand for, Fabi? Role play games, exactly. So RPGs, Fabian was saying, I think you guys can hear him. For me, in my opinion, I think I was, in my earlier ages, I was at the boom of console gaming. You have the N64s coming out, the PlayStations, and everything along those lines. But I think that we need to look to take that next step into gaming. Someone said and made a really good point in saying, hey, where's that virtual reality Xbox? I think we need to sway away from the conventional controller and take that next level. I know we tried in the metaverse, didn't really catch, but if you can get some more games with some quality graphics, I think that's where the next big step is going to be. And I thought that they were going to discontinue. I heard there was talks in Microsoft for discontinuing the Xbox console altogether, and they usually don't typically come out for like a 10-year intervals. I know PS4 and PS5, I think it was over a 10-year span before each console was released. But I really, really want to see a transition and a shift into something from that conventional screen and controller to take that next step in gaming. Because in my opinion, all that really comes into play is that you have bigger maps and the graphics are a little bit better.
What if they throw like different variables that can be picked up by AI? So that, not all the scenarios are programmed ahead of time.
Right?
You see what I'm saying?
That would be different, right? So instead of having that storybook or that kind of, there's a term that I'm looking for when you're just playing the whole game in general, but an actual varying scenarios that can happen within the game, not one all being the exact same. You know what I mean?
And I think they need something here because they reported that their Xbox hardware revenue declined 32%.
Story mode is essentially what I was getting at. Like if you can have something where it's like nothing is guaranteed and you have multiple branches of a story mode, almost limitless, I think that would be really
that is, I think, possible with AI because the story can just be whatever. And they're also consistently trailing behind Sony and Nintendo. I didn't think they were trailing behind Nintendo, man. Okay. All right, Derek, give us your take on Microsoft.
Sharif. So you guys know me. When new people get hired, I go on their LinkedIns because I want to know who they are and I want to understand them. So we talked about Asha Sharma's history with AI at Microsoft, but she wasn't actually there for that long. She was there for like 2 years. And what I find interesting is her other work history, specifically her job as Chief Operating Officer of Instacart for 3 years and Product Engineering Vice President of Meta. So she doesn't, again, not a ton of experience directly related to gaming. Now, Matt Booty, who is and that is his real name, he was the incoming Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer of Microsoft Gaming. I mean, his entire work history that I can find on LinkedIn, going back to 1995, so 30 years, has always been in gaming. This guy is like a veteran of the gaming industry. Go him. But I want to focus on Asha Sharma because she is the CEO of Xbox. And the point I'm trying to make here is I think whatever comes of this, if this is well received or poorly received, I think people will reflect it onto her performance as a leader. And I mean, obviously that's fair. She's the CEO of Xbox, but I think it's also worth noting people had a lot of qualms about her when she came in, not just because her history was mostly in AI or, COO of Instacart, but because they didn't think she had too much of a gaming history. Like the previous individual who was in this role, Phil Spencer, had a noted history, not just in the gaming industry, but also as a gamer. Now, people were like, release her gamer tag when she became CEO. So she did, but people were suspecting that she had other people playing for her because a lot of games only had like 2-3 minutes of playtime, or like she'd play for an hour, 15 minutes, and she'd stop. So a lot of people are questioning her bona fides, not just as an executive for the company, but also as a gamer. So with that in mind, I'm very curious to see how this product performs because I do think it'll be a nice litmus test of this new leadership team. Again, Matt Booty, he's solid. He's literally only worked in gaming. I don't think that people will be judging him for whatever happens here.
Yeah, and that basically the kind of sentiment that I got from some of the videos that people were releasing after she was announced. to be the leader of Xbox was they weren't happy. They wanted somebody with a gaming background, but Microsoft's obviously taking the approach that AI is a solution for everything. I mean, Copilot, let's include it with the browser. You need interns. They're costing too much money. All right, let's replace them with AI at the entry. Like Microsoft their move here has to be kind of to include AI in everything, and I don't think that really changes with gaming. Let's see, as Adara said, how this works in real life. But the gamers, the hardcore gamers, at least from what I've seen, they were none too plussed about it, Sia.
Yeah, we're going to talk about oil here. Oil has been surging today and prices are jumping after 3 additional cargo ships were attacked in the Persian Gulf. And the incidents occurred near energy shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz, and authorities have reported that 2 oil tankers were stuck and left burning near Iraq's port of Qasr, while other container vessel was also hit by projectile near Jebel Ali in the UAE. In response to the growing supply risks here, the International Energy Agency IEA has announced the largest coordinated release of emergency crude reserves in history, which is totaling 400 million barrels. The United States also will be contributing 172 million barrels from its strategic petroleum reserve. And right here, I have a bit of a comment from Ibrahim Zolfakari, who's the spokesperson for Iran's military command, saying that get ready for oil to be $200 a barrel because the oil price depends on regional security, which you have destabilized. And oil prices have been trading higher shortly after Iran's new supreme leader said that the Strait of Hormuz must remain closed as a tool to pressure the enemy.
Yeah, let's see how long they can keep it closed for. I mean, they've done it successfully now. We've seen yesterday the talk about Chubb included in with the U.S. government to backstop some of the boats going through, the shipping boat containers going through the Strait of Hormuz for insurance purposes. Also, the other thing that I wanted to mention there is, yes, they're going to release about 400 million barrels. How quickly can they get those to market? How much does that actually take off the price, at least in the short term? So we'll have to wait to see. I was listening to I think it was a trade minister, could be the energy minister in this country yesterday. He's like, Canada's going to do their part. We're going to increase production as well. So we'll have to wait and see, whether that actually moves a needle. But you kind of feel this could be a coordinated effort here to stabilize some prices.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think which is really important to take into consideration, the delay to actually get those to market. I mean, you'll see an increase, but if the supply really starts to meet the demand, then sure enough, we'll start to see that cool down. We talk about oil, and we have been for the past couple of weeks, extremely volatile and headline sensitive right now. So until things start to cool down, $200 is not out of the picture. I mean, I was looking at some betting markets. There's about a 25% chance you can see $150, and then a 13% chance that you can see $200 as well too. So I mean, if it continues and it remains closed, then I wouldn't be surprised if those odds start to increase.
Well, let's do that right now, Joey. Let's type in oil. Let's see what we get. WT oil, okay, oil price tomorrow. How high will WTI get by the end of the year? Let's take a quick look at this. Let's see here, Joe. All right, let's go more markets. Oh my days. All right, chance. 95, that's already happened. Let's move all the way down. Yeah. So 180 or above, 20% chance, but that's up today, by the way. 160 and above, 33. 150, 38. Yeah. So according to Kashi, there's a 66% chance it hits 125 or above by the end of the year. A 57% chance it hits 130, and a 51% chance. Let's see everything. Let's just go to 49. So 140 and above, a 49% chance. That's interesting there. That's from Kalshi in the prediction market. So obviously we have to wait, but the prediction markets have been pretty good lately. What do you got next to you?
Yeah, we're talking about UiPath. Path has reported a Q4 revenue of $481 million, which is up 13.6% year over year, beating the Zacks estimate of $464.9 million. But the EPS has come in at 30 cents, which has exceeded 26 cents from exactly a year ago and has topped the 25 cents consensus estimate here. There has been a 20% earnings surprise, and the results have highlighted a continued demand for automation software and enterprise workflow solutions. Annual recurring revenue has reached $1.85 billion. Net new ARR has totaled $70 million, which has beat the estimates of $60.9 million. And subscription revenue has come in at $251.2 million, which is 16.7% increase year over year.
I got to tell you, I don't know too much about this company. I realize that they're in AI. They do automation, AI-driven workflow. I get all that. I'm just not sure why this company, should be spared from disruption. We've seen all the LLM companies come up with like their own Claude bot, Malt bot, whatever, OpenClaw variants, and software has been made to pay through the nose. So do they get disrupted? Well, have a look at the chart over here. This is kind of where the January top was. This is the December top, almost at $20. From the high to the low there, we lost 50% from December, early December highs to today's price. We're still down about 41.5%, Joey. So I don't know. I don't know enough about the company to say they're not disruptable, but a lot of these other automation, AI, or any SaaS, even with CRM, we've seen that get disrupted as well. And they were one of the first people to say agent force, agentic workflow, and that's the next future. They themselves have been on the receiving end of disruption.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if anything, CRM has been on the longer term of things for sure. So, I mean, it hasn't been too good of a look. But as for UiPath here, guys, $500 million in stock repurchase program, not horrible whatsoever. But cloud annual recurring revenue exceeded $1.2 billion. That's up 20% year over year. With AI product ARR nearing $200 million and strong attachment rates, 90% of greater than $1 million ARR customers, 60% of over $100,000. So over 60% of their customers are paying out more than $100,000 a year for their services. Again, this name has been disrupted and it's been on the decline for quite some time now as well too. We've seen that in the CrowdStrikes, in the Zscalers and everything. I'm not saying that they're a cybersecurity name because that's not the case, but you can see that SaaS play is still definitely in effect right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Dick's Sporting Goods here. Dick's Sporting Goods has reported a Q4 adjusted EPS of $3.45, beating the $2.87 Wall Street estimate. Revenue has come in at $6.23 billion, which has topped the estimates of $6.07 billion. And despite the strong quarterly performance, however, the net income has fallen to $128.3 million, which is $1.41 per share, from $299.9 million a year earlier. Dick's has also acquired Foot Locker in a $2.5 billion deal, expanding its reach into international markets. And it has strengthened relationships with major brands such as Nike, Adidas, and New Balance, and this deal has helped drive roughly 60% of the year-over-year sales growth. It has also launched a pilot concept called Fast Break in 11 Foot Locker stores, which is testing new merchandising, product presentation, and also certain store storytelling strategies. And the company, however, is expecting a fiscal 2026 adjusted EPS between 13.50 and 14.50, below the 14.67 analyst consensus estimates. Integration costs have been tied to Foot Locker, are expected to total to $500 million to $750 million between this number, with about $390 million, which is already recorded in fiscal 2025.
Yeah, so that deal with Foot Locker was both, good and a little bad. Obviously brought up that top line number in revenue, about 60%, but they did encounter operational challenges. Now they have a large mall presence, and if you've seen any of the videos online about some of these malls in certain, smaller markets in the United States, they're all but empty. There's like one or two stores in a huge mall. So obviously I'm not saying that those are the ones that they're keeping open, but that is obviously a bit of a headwind there, especially with a lot more, DTC to be focusing on. Now, also, they said they're going to close. They've closed as well. They've closed 57 stores globally across Foot Locker brands, including Champs. And what is this WSS thing? I don't even know what this is. Do you know what this is?
Oh, no idea.
Part of the restructuring effort to improve profitability. And it's weird, though, because we kind of see a tale of two different stories. We see Dick's and Foot Locker continue to say, and Nike, we need that three-wall presence. We want to be able to show off our shoes. We want to be able to show off our athletic apparel to people in real life so they can buy. And then you see some others. You see like the Hokas and the Ons really, and some others as well, really force the old Nike strategy, which was the direct-to-consumer channel.
Yeah.
Seems to be working for some people, not the others. Both seem to be, feasible at the moment. So
yeah, that's
one strategy over the other.
That's a very valid point, and we have the Gymsharks as well too, who don't have a brick and mortar, right?
Exactly.
Right? Doesn't have a brick and mortar. It's difficult. Does brand power come into play? Because if we're talking about brand power, we see that they're acquiring Foot Locker, and that gives you a wide variety of things. I don't know, man. That's a really difficult question. But one thing that I like that you brought up this morning as well too, Sharif, is that just speaking of Dollarama and kind of the retail space, they're opening up new stores. But I'm reading in Dick's as well, they're looking at 15 new locations throughout 2026 as well too. I don't think that's going to be oversaturation, but I think you don't want to get too heavy into the brick and mortar right now, considering the e-commerce strength and a lot of these other names as well. So I think that's really important. I'm not going to call any of these brands dead, but I think that it's starting to get really oversaturated.
Yeah, and we didn't hear any complaints about them, at least not this time around during the report about shrinkage.
Yeah, exactly, right? Shrinkage. But you got to worry about shrinkage because people are stealing it. But you can't, that's not necessarily going to happen if you have the D2C aspect, right?
Funny how a change of administration changes that. See ya.
We're talking about Dollar General. DG has reported a Q3 revenue of $10.9 billion, which is a 5.9% year-over-year growth here. And adjusted EPS has come in at $1.93, beating the $1.64 consensus estimate, and has risen sharply from 87 cents exactly a year earlier. The operating profit has surged 106% as well. Same-store sales have increased 4.3%. Analysts' expectations of roughly 3.3% growth and gross margin has expanded to 30.4%. Inventory levels, however, have declined to $6.3 billion, down from $6.7 billion exactly a year ago, with average inventory per share falling roughly 7%. The company is expecting a full-year revenue growth of 3.7%, between 3.7% to 4.2%, with an EPS projected between $7.10 to $7.35.
So I misspoke today, Katina, man. I completely misunderstood this headline. I thought it was down 5.9% year-over-year growth. That's because I put a hyphen right there. That's my mistake. They grew at 6% year-over-year because I was making the comparison how the dollar stores were doing really well in Canada and maybe not so in the United States. I misunderstood that. Clearly, they're doing quite well. I like that as well. And I like how the strength here is broad-based. Consumables did better. Seasonal items, home goods, apparel, as well as kind of reinforcing their look as the discount destination to go to. I also like how they're going to continue to expand stores, which is what our version of Dollar General here in Canada called Dollarama has been doing. I mean, like I said, I gave you guys an anecdotal story not long ago about how there was one in my area where I live, and then there's another one literally 100 meters down, and I don't live in downtown, so it's not like a high density area. That's atypical for me, but it just shows you the consumer's getting squeezed and people are looking for options. This is one of those options. I frequent Dollarama a lot. Now, some people say that the products that are made for the dollar stores are different than the ones that are actually in the Walmarts and the Costcos. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's been like the case has been made to that effect. Any experience on your part that would support that? I personally haven't.
No, I don't think I have, to be honest with you, but there's only certain things that I'll grab from there, like the Colgate toothpaste.
Right.
I mean, the Speed Stick, right? There's certain items, right? You kind of have to be picky at what you're getting.
I get some Tupperware from there too.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong, right? Like cleaning products as well too. So instead of going to the Walmarts and paying that premium price, but I want to emphasize on one thing, Sharif. It's not that I don't think it's the consumer that's necessarily strapped. That's when we see the uptick in kind of the dollar stores here. We're seeing a lot of them being expanded, but it's the lower end consumer, right? Let's not beat around the bush.
K-shaped economy, like we talked about.
Exactly. It's typically the top end consumer driving the markets, keeping the retail busy. But when you see that downtick in slowing growing economies and that kind of that average really start to move a little bit lower is when you see the Dollar Generals and the Dollaramas start to really amplify.
No, No, and to build on your point, like I don't mean to disagree with you, but we remember when we got Walmart and Costco's report, and they're like, we have a record number of individuals who make over $100,000 a year spending more and more money.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, because they're smart too. They don't want to throw away money.
They don't want to throw away money, right? But in all seriousness, that threshold, the $100,000, you're starting to reach kind of the upper, I would say upper echelon, right? When you get south of that kind of that average is when you see people more bargaining at the Dollarama.
All right, see ya.
We're talking about Li Auto. LI has reported a decline in Q4 profit because two reasons. Slowing the plug-in hybrid demand and an increasing competition in China's EV market. Net profit has fallen to 6.5 million yuan, which is down a lot from the 3.52 billion yuan a year ago. And quarterly revenue has come in at 35 billion yuan, which is below the analyst expectations of 32.41 billion yuan. Li Auto has delivered 109,194 vehicles in Q4, which is a 31% decline from the previous year. And gross margin has declined to 17.8%, which is down from 20.3% a year earlier, but it is still above the 16.3% that was recorded in the previous quarter. And for Q1, Li Auto is expecting to deliver between 85,000 to 90,000 vehicles, with a revenue projected between 20.4 billion yuan and 21.6 billion yuan.
All right, so I feel like China is going a completely different direction than North America. So these extended range vehicles, which is what Li Auto is, right? They have battery on there, which gives you about 200, 250 kilometers on a full charge, but they also have a gas engine on there, and it just charges the battery, doesn't power the car, with a total range about 1,300 to 1,500 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. The point is, though, that's falling out of favor in China in exchange for pure battery electric vehicles. That is the opposite of what's happening in North America, where you're seeing Chrysler, Ford, GM, they're all looking to do these kind of hybrids. They're not strictly hybrids in the way that we know them here, where, you know, both the gas engine and the electric engine are powering the car. These are not that. They're extended range vehicles. And that's what we're starting to adopt here in North America, and that's falling out of favor in China. So I don't know if there's some sort of different, you know, environment that they've got over there, which kind of champions that. Maybe because they have so many different players that are in the BEV game. But that was a stark distinction to me that I noticed between our two countries.
The two countries. And areas, I mean, if the CEO states the competition as brutal, it's typically not going so good. As I mentioned, 31% decline. Margins are starting to compress as well, too, going from 20% to 17% gross margins, that is. So, I mean, it's a really tough look, and I stated this on multiple occasions. The car business is not easy. And then when you have this push, whether it be the hybrid or just the electric vehicles in general, it's going to be fierce competition. And we talked about this before, Sharif, it's just everyone undercutting each other. So what is that going to do? That's why you can see somewhat of a decline in the gross margins here in NEO.
Absolutely. And these are not good numbers,
no,
guys.
They're not.
They're like, let's go through this a little bit. I know Sia went through it, but they delivered 110,000, a little bit less, a 31% decline. That's kind of crazy here. And again, pressure on plug-in hybrid demand as consumers' preference, I'm assuming here, shifts to battery EVs, the exact opposite of what we're seeing in North America. Something to think about there, guys, for investment. See ya.
Yeah, we're talking about Futu Holdings. FUTU has reported Q4 revenue of 6.44 billion Hong Kong dollars, representing a 45% year-over-year growth. Net income has also risen 80% year-over-year to 3.37 billion HKD, while the adjusted net income has increased 77%. Operating expenses have also increased 9% to 1.56 billion HKD. And for 2025, the total revenue has reached 28.85 billion HKD, which is up 19% year over year. And net income has climbed 29% to 5.82 billion HKD. Now, operating expenses have increased, but this is solely due to the spending on crypto, trading infrastructure, AI capabilities, and marketing expansion.
So this is interesting, right? Because we're seeing a lot more being spoken about these emerging markets. And so you're seeing a lot more trading activity, continued client expansion across their brokerage platforms. This is kind of like the Robinhood of, I guess, China. Funded accounts, pardon me, increased 40% year over year. Strong client acquisition momentums, especially in Hong Kong and Malaysia, and trading volume remains strong. And it's not just international markets and emerging markets that these guys are interested in that are using Futu. U.S. stock trading is rising 17% sequentially. That's quarter over quarter, not year over year. And there's a strong interest in AI stocks. So you kind of like that. And we saw Moomoo as well. Moomoo is a Chinese brokerage. They just opened up here at Bay and Bloor.
Did they? Yeah.
There's a little boutique. They took over the old Peloton store, I think. So
really?
I think so. I'm not sure. But so there's definitely some more interest in Asia for trading and investment.
Yeah, I'm just reading some things on this. I mean, for me personally, I'm not really in love with this name. You got to take into consideration the ADR aspect, right? So you're going to be exposed to all that China risk. I mean, the increase, you would want to see a little bit more of an increase in American activity, right? That's going to be overnight for them. We pay attention to what we got going on in the ADRs, but I mean, 184% in this name isn't horrible whatsoever. $200, you're going to see a 30% decline on that. But compared to compared to some of the other ADRs, this isn't horrible, actually, in my opinion.
No, I mean, it's clearly, it's holding up quite well, Sia.
We're going to talk about Bumble and Baidu. I just want to make a comparison here. But Bumble has reported a Q4 revenue of $224.17 million, which is up 1.07% year over year. Slightly ahead of its estimates. EPS has come in at 26 cents, beating the 24 cents consensus and rising from 22 cents a year ago. So total paying users have reached 3.32 million, which is in line with the expectations that they had of 3.30 million. Now, Baidu app is paying users total to 1.14 million, which is slightly below the analyst expectations of 1.19 million. Broader Bumble app average revenue per paying user has increased to $27.61, which has outperformed the estimates of $28.33. Now, Baidu app revenue has come in at $43.2 million, which has missed the expectations of $42.66 million and declining 14.12% year over year. Bumble app, on the other hand, revenue has risen to $181 million, which is slightly above the estimates of $179.7 million, although it has declined 14.8% from the previous quarter.
Between these two apps are they just like the same thing? Because I know on Bumble women have to initiate, right? Is that the same thing on Baidu? I mean, I have no idea what this whole thing is about. Why are there two different apps, or are they just trying to diversify their game, right? Like, I mean, I have no idea. Look, there is some interesting stuff here. There's weakness in certain areas and strength in others. Let's just go through it. For example, roughly in line total paying users, but stable, but slowing subscriber expansion. Okay, so they beat, but the trend is lower. Same thing with this Baidu, kind of slightly below analyst. Broader Bumble app average revenue per user increase. Okay, that's good, improving monetization. But the Baidu app revenue missed expectations, and this Baidu app brings in far less than the actual Bumble app. 43.2 million in revenue, 181 million in revenue for Bumble. Baidu missed, Bumble slightly above, though it declined 14.8% from the previous quarter. Maybe, I have no idea, like, why is there a 15% decline quarter over quarter? I don't get any of these things here. Like, someone explain this to me.
I can't.
Yeah. Go.
Apparently, I just researched a little bit and I found out that Bumble and Baidu, they are the same dating app, yes, but Bumble requires women to reach out first, whereas Baidu does not have that restriction. And apparently it's more focused on social discovery app with a massive global presence, whereas Bumble is more towards dating. So
I knew the women initiating thing on Bumble. I didn't know that the social presence thing. That's interesting. Do you have any comment on this?
Yeah, I mean, average users paying a little, or is increasing. How much the average user is spending? 8%. Quarter was 2% of the year. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not going to say the space is crowded or anything along those lines, but I was looking at this article right here. I don't know half these names, what's happened, or some of these other dating apps there. No, wait.
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
I thought, yeah, all right. But aside from that, man, I don't really know what's going on with the space. As for Bumble, monthly active users, I didn't see any increase or anything along those lines on that. So again, as long as people are spending more money and paying for those tiers, then by all means, the paid tiers, I think that's what the trajectory that you want. But the stock has not been performing good whatsoever.
All right, Adara, what's your take here?
What I have to say, I heard that as paying for those tiers like TEARS, like they were crying after the app. So that was a very awesome accidental double entendre left there. Like Joe, like the idea of, I don't know, you had a bad date. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. But you know what's not funny is this revenue growth decline here on BMBL. Now Bumble has like, I think like a 21, just under 22% short float. I checked this morning for the watch list. And as Sharif always says, like these small caps, a lot of the time it does not matter what news they have in order to run. Now, Bumble obviously a little bit more established in some of these small caps, but that short float and the fact that it's a sub $5 name does make me think that a lot of this run could be just related to that small cap aspect, because I went through their whole year, fiscal 2025. I mean, the only thing that's relatively stable here is their average revenue per paying user. That mostly grows sequentially or stays relatively stable. Total paying users, I don't know what happened in Q3, but this dropped, I think, like 20% year over year in Q3. That did restabilize in Q4, so I'll give them that. But the revenue growth year over year getting worse on a sequential basis, down like 14% year over year. Plus, with the revenue either being relatively flat or declining sequentially, not a great look. Yeah, I mean, not a business I admittedly know a lot about. I will shout out Miss Whitney Wolf here. Clearly, doing what she can to try to bring this business back. We know that she became the CEO again, I believe early last year, 2025. I think it was announced in January, took place within the first quarter of the year. So we'll have to see if she can continue to right the ship. It's only been a couple quarters since she's been back. I do think there's a lot of time to fix things.
I think Hinge is eating their lunch, though. Like, that's my understanding, is that everybody's on Hinge.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a about Bumble. It's Tinder and Hinge.
I wouldn't even say.
Am I accurate or am I off on this?
Like,
I'd love to hear your opinion.
I think Tinder was probably first to market, essentially, in that space. But that was when I was young. I think that
it's still kicking, bro.
I think that it goes essentially Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and
Bumble, Hinge.
Right? Like
I think it's Hinge, Tinder,
you
Bumble.
Think, really?
Yeah.
So I mean,
maybe
there's things that we're not going to get into about all of that, but I don't know if this is correct, Sharif. The IPO is in February of 2021, potentially here. I think they were late. You want to be involved during COVID. COVID was huge,
well said.
Right? Like, so they missed the boat on this one when everyone's at home and they don't really, they don't have anything else to.
Why are you laughing?
Because there's a saying, there's a saying during COVID that I found absolutely hilarious.
Let's hear it.
And I'm not gonna say it here. It was stay home if you're sick. Come over if you're something else.
Oh, okay, I like it. All right.
I don't know. Moving forward.
Well, we had, of course, Palantir's conference today, so let's go and hear what this story is about. Then we'll get more from Adara on the actual Palantir conference.
Absolutely. Let's move on. Palantir, PLTR, and GE Aerospace announced an expansion of their partnership to deploy advanced artificial intelligence solutions for military aircraft operations. And this multi-year expansion will be integrating Palantir's artificial intelligence platform, that is AIP, across GE's aerospace supply chain. The companies have said that the goal for this is to deploy agent-take AI systems that are capable of automating repetitive workflows. And GE has planned to use Palantir's platform to unify operational and supply chain data across the enterprise.
I'm loving these comments that are coming in. You guys are fantastic, man. Keep them coming. Just you try to keep them clean, but they're hilarious. I love y'all in the chat, man. You guys are great. Joey, there's one thing that stands out to me immediately from this.
Palantir.
The system is expected to improve aircraft availability and maintenance turnaround times. Those are two critical metrics for defense operations, your machine, your airplane, whatever the hell you're using is absolutely useless if it's not operable. It has to be operable, and so the only way to keep that bad boy operable is to make sure you're on top of maintenance. And so I do like this. I think it's going to be an early warning system. That means more uptime, obviously, and I think that that definitely helps fighting forces. I don't see anything wrong with this. In fact, the companies have already tied the knot here when it comes to the Air Force's T-38, which is their trading aircraft. I think if you're going to fly the F-16, 15, 18, 22, 35, you got to go through this T-38 as a starting point. So that obviously shows that they had a tie-up before. I don't mind this at all. I think it's just another expansion of Palantir's moat.
Yeah, I think that's the exact same narrative because we know that Alex Karp is all about offense, no defense. He wants to get his technology into as many things as possible, leading into the aerospace with GE here. I mean, he's doing the right things. He's getting, he's making deals with the right people, and I think he's going to continue to expand these larger contracts, especially what we have going on with the world controversies right now.
Okay, Derek, give us your take.
I think with Palantir, I do have to start with a moment of, I guess, silence here for GE, because unfortunately, GE investors just did not care about that story. But I do think, in general, I don't think the market cared too much about AIPCon today. So I listened to the thing. I will say, I will give Alex Karp full credit. His speech today was slightly more on topic than the speech he gave last year at AIPCon, his keynote, which was a lot longer and much more meandering. I also think in general they just ran the event a lot better this year than they did last year. Last year they had like people who were hyping up the speeches and they'd ask them, oh, how many times have you been? Oh, it's my third AIPCon. I was like, what is this, a Super Bowl? I don't know. I think this was a lot more professional vibe. They had a theme for it. It was like kind of a fantasy Harry Potter-ish theme. I think they did a really good job of execution. I will give them credit for that. I just don't think, unfortunately, the market really gave a hoot. I guess shout out to Harry Potter. With anything that happened there, and I do have to mention Joe here with ONDS, because ONDS, I think, was one of the few names that actually reacted to a Palantir-related tie-in or tie-up or team-up or partnership that came of this announcement. They announced a partnership with Nvidia. If anything, that'd be a better catalyst for PLTR. But again, like this event just wasn't market moving. There were a couple of times, like for example, when the SAP executive came on, you got a little bit of a spike. When the ACN Accenture executive came on, you got a little bit of a spike. But other than those two much more thinly traded stocks, the market did not seem to care about AIPCon this year. And honestly, I mean, Alex Karp's speech didn't really seem like he cared that much either.
All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Yeah, we're talking, sorry, I'm just going to quickly change the stock here. Yeah, we're going to talk about Eli Lilly right over here. So LLY has issued a public warning about potential safety risks that are associated with compounded terzepatide mixed with vitamin B12. And the company testing has found a significant level of impurity. So Lilly has also cautioned patients about receiving compounded versions through telehealth providers, med spas, or compounding pharmacies that they may be exposed to the products with unknown safety risks. And now, according to the company, these additives have used to have no proven clinical benefits for patients taking terzepatide and may introduce additional safety risks. So currently, LLY is down 2%.
So, yeah, I don't think this is really a Lilly issue. This is just them telling the compounders not to do that. So vitamin B12 is something called cyanocobalamin, right? And you take cyanocobalamin as an injection once or twice, once weekly or once every 2 weeks. It's really good for energy, right? And this, it obviously makes sense to include it with, because you're burning a whole lot of calories with these GLPs, or you're intaking less calories as a result of the destruction in your desire to eat. So you need to be kept, abreast, right? You gotta be given, sort of energy. So it makes sense that they would include these things together. What I don't understand is why there are levels of impurity in the cyanocobalamin, the B12. It's not an expensive thing to sell. It's not an expensive thing to source. So it kind of makes me feel that the compounders here were just, lackadaisical about how they were compounding it, or they were using really cheap stuff. Who knows where it came from? Apparently, Lilly did urge regulators to recall compounded trizepatide products containing the untested additives. Specifically, what they're talking about is glycine, pyridoxine, whatever, and then cartoning to circumvent regulatory restrictions and differentiate their products. I guess they're trying to kind of give you their own proprietary version, thinking that it may function a little bit better. I get why Lilly's upset. I get why Novo was upset as well. They spent billions of dollars manufacturing, researching these things, and then comes some schmuck at a pharmacy, a local pharmacy that wants to compound this stuff and sell it for the same price. I get it. We got to go to Adair with news.
Hearing some comments coming from different regions of the Middle East with regards to how many missiles they have successfully intercepted as of today. UAE, United Arab Emirates, confirming they successfully intercepted and neutralized no less than 10 Iranian ballistic missiles on Thursday. Then Saudi Arabia confirming the successful interception of a ballistic missile targeting its eastern region. Furthermore, Saudi forces saying they intercepted 7 drones that headed towards their Shaiba oil field. So more missile, I guess, successful interceptions there happening here in the Middle East. USO not reacting too much to this story here, guys. Back to you.
What do you have to say about this, Joey?
I mean, I'm just reading on some of this. It seems like across the board that they're having these issues. You've got Eli Lilly as well. Zepbound is Manjaro. So I find it's interesting, but I do believe it's to combat, and obviously what they had going with hims and hers and the other people who are trying to compound the drug.
Yeah, and you can't be, throwing in random things thinking, all right, well, this is going to be great. It's not even filler. They're trying to make it better, man. Like, they think by including this kind of stuff, it's going to either be absorbed better, have a better result, but none of this is...
When you have all these things like glycine, hydroxyzine, is that really good for you? Like, I mean, all these forms of chemicals?
I don't think they would put it in there if they were intending bad things. I think that they're trying to make their product better in the best way they know how. It doesn't mean that it's going to actually end up that way.
But what are, like, from a percentage metric, what are we sitting at from a full dose, a full regime of this thing? What a percentage body fat are we looking at we're losing?
Everybody's a little bit different, but I think most people lose about 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 25.
So what are we trying to optimize here? Like, how much more weight are we trying to lose?
Well, I mean, when you look at the bodybuilding one, right, a 2-diet, right? People, then that's by Eli Lilly. It's in phase 3. It's not. It's not available yet, but obviously it comes from China for the bodybuilders. But a lot of people say that actually helps you maintain mass. So the drawback with these GLP-1s is it doesn't differentiate on mass.
It depletes muscle mass.
Exactly. Right, so they're looking for ones that just deplete fat, but I think it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everybody's swearing up and down by this Reddit thing, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. All right, we got to pause for a second. We got to go to Adair. She's got news.
2 stories here. I'll start with GameStop GME. This one obviously a lot more reactive as it tends to be. According to a post on his Substack, Michael Burry claiming he's looking to start a position in GME. Now, this is confusing because he's already posted before about his interest in GME. So if I get more details on this, I'll let you know. But apparently he's looking to start a position in GME. Furthermore, and completely unrelated, Amazon, AMZN on watch, seeing reports that Amazon Prime Air has raised concerns about drones in airspace and has, as such, resigned from the trade association. So Amazon, with, I guess, some Prime Air concerns and subsequent resignation from a trade association, while GME spiking and now giving up a lot of this move. Burry apparently looking to start a position in GME. Again, if I get more context given his past comments on GME, I will keep you guys posted.
And that's what I heard. Everybody's going to catch hands now. You know what I mean? Like any American company, right? Number one, they listed the source of, or the list of American big tech companies that they're going to hit. They said Meta, Google, Amazon. There were others. I think Palantir was one of them. I'm not sure if they threw CRM in there, but there were a bunch of different companies that the leader listed. So I'm not shocked at all that Amazon is going to catch hands, right? Or apparently they're going to catch hands. But I expect this to. I feel like there's a lot of threats from the other side, and not like they're not wreaking havoc. They are. They're wreaking havoc on the Arab states mostly. Yeah. Right. But it's such a global economy, especially with oil. Everybody is really getting a little bit.
But I mean, everybody can get what is the, to a certain extent, like what is the worst thing that they can do? Hit some more data centers.
Well, yeah, that would. See, that's the thing. If they hit something like that, I think the market reacts quite aggressively because it shows their ability to reach, right?
Absolutely.
And so that is concerning for sure, guys. All right. We hope it gets a lot better. In any event, it is now 2:01. Boy Joey Opsh, good show. Ended up being a good show today. Good trade today, good trading yesterday. Started 0 for 2 for the week, Randy, but we go 2 for 2 from yesterday. Yesterday and today, positive. Let's see how Friday brings. Hopefully we'll be able to finish off the week on a positive note. For now, OB, Sean, that way.